Good afternoon, everyone, and this is a very early season important game in the Western Division. You can see why in just a moment. The Saints have already lost to Atlanta. They are 1-1. Of course, the 49ers are 2-0, and they go out of the division next week, so this one is a crucial early game in this ballpark. It's called the Stick, Candlestick Park, and if you think baseball players hate to come here, think about football teams. The 49ers have won 7 in a row dating back to last year in this ballpark. I'm Tom Brookshire, along with Wayne Walker. And Wayne, I've seen some good offenses in my time, but none better than San Francisco right now.
They're often sailing. A great statistic about them, Tom, and we don't believe in those a lot of times. But in their first 2 games, the opener against Detroit, last week against Washington, 22 possessions. They've scored on 13 of them. That's almost unheard of.
What about Richard Todd now? He does have the good strong arm, which gives him a longer arm, but what's happened to their offense the first 2 weeks?
Well, St. Louis, or rather New Orleans, has started out a little bit slow, and it is really because of Richard Todd. He's brand new there. He's familiarizing himself with his receivers, and you can only do that under game conditions, but he's been successful in the past against the 49ers. 1980, 42 completions. Last year, when he was with the Jets, he beat him here at Candlestick. So, will all that work? Will none of it work? We'll find out. Here's Brookie.
There's young Martin Anderson, the Dane, kicking off for Bum Phillips, which means that San Francisco did win that toss. Here's the kickoff. That's Monroe. Monroe, is hit very hard, short of the 20-yard line. Let's set those lineups for San Francisco. Joe Montana, who else? Wendell Tyler, Roger Craig, a great tandem. Dwight Clark, Freddie Solomon, same. They're 2 great outside receivers and very smart. Russ Francis having a great year at tight end. Bubba Paris, Ayers, Quillen, Cross, and Fawnhorse among the very best in football. Good offensive line and getting better. We'll set that defense that Montana will face for New Orleans in just a moment. The top-rated quarterback of all times. Play action on first play. Oh, and he's hit by number 57 very quickly, and the sack goes to Ricky Jackson.
Exactly what the 49ers were worried about, the quickness and the blitzing of the New Orleans Saints. Ricky Jackson, the left outside linebacker, 57, comes in, beats the block by Roger Craig just with his quickness to the outside. Good coverage downfield, and Montana is down.
They have to put a tight end on that side and make Ricky stay home at that position outside, eh?
Yeah, and they've got a lot of them. They're as quick as he is, so they are tough to pick up when they start stunting and blitzing, and the 49ers feared that.
They got 7 sacks a week ago in that ball game when they beat Tampa Bay. Boy, Ricky Jackson is some kind of a athlete. We'll set that, but he came again. This time they ran inside. Wendell Tyler dancing for maybe a couple of 3 yards. Bruce Clark had a big day against Tampa Bay also at left end, the great Penn State All-American. Derlin Moore is now healthy at the nose position, and Jimmy Wilkes is very good at that sort of weak side right end defense. Ricky Jackson, Kovacs, very underrated. Dirt Winston, tough against the run, and Whitney Paul, a very good athlete at the outside. Waymer, Poe, Gary, Watlick, about as hard-hitting a young secondary as there is in football. Solomon, Mike Wilson, 3 outside receivers now, and Clark. Montana, second pass attempt, overthrowing badly at the 30-yard line, trying for number 88, Freddie Solomon, but Joe sort of loaded up a live round and overthrew everybody by about 10 yards.
I think he almost had to there. Great coverage by Wadlett, and it looked like Poe in the middle, and if Montana would have brought that ball down, there was a chance it would have been intercepted.
Here's the new San Francisco punter, the former Eagle, who was about second in the NFC last year, Maxie Runiger. This is a low punt that can be run back by Jeter Fields at the 48. Fields down to the 41, and it looks like the Saints have strapped it on and come to play a football game. The offense for the Saints, Richard Todd, the former Jet. He has the big arm. George Rogers, he's just one of the great players. Hokie Gajan, Lindsey Scott, and Goodlow. And look out for number 88. He's a very good receiver. Hobie Brenner, the tight end. Ward is in there now at left tackle. Edelman at left guard. Court, the young center. And Kelvin Clark has moved from left tackle to right guard. And Stan Brock, the all-pro, is at right tackle. It's a good club. 1st and 10 in San Francisco territory for Todd. 4-step drop. Knocked away beautifully. Number 50 came across the back. Ricky Ellison, and made a good defensive play. Here's the defense for the 49ers, and it's been hurt a little bit. Pillars, Mano Tuiasosopo, got through that one in good shape. Dwayne Board, they've been worked hard, and they are perhaps undersized, but they play well. Buns, Ellison, Jack Reynolds, and the new father of last night, Keena Turner. He had a baby last night, his wife did. And I'll set that great secondary in just a moment. to the 35-yard line, George Rogers in a bolt. Make no mistake, Bum Phillips has a very talented squad here, and he's only been there for 3 seasons before this. Here's that secondary for the 49ers. Mario Clark still going at left corner, but Wright is and can probably play today. Ronnie Lott is at right corner, and he can play anywhere. Williamson and Hicks, the 2 safety men, are in their normal position. All right, 3rd down, and call it a long 3. Single back is Gaijan. He's checking out. Todd gets it to Groth at the 30-yard line on a very quick release by the former Jet quarterback.
Had something right away, no doubt about that. When he took a snap, looked at Jeff Groth and popped him, knowing that he'd be open, so they saw something in the films. Quickie, I really think it's important for New Orleans to get off to a good start in this ball game. The 49ers have kind of had their number the past couple years, and if they get off to a good start and get it going, they'll get cranked up. If the other thing happens where the 49ers get out on top early, it could really take the wind out of New Orleans' sails. San
Francisco lost a day because of Monday night. They only were in pads 1 practice for Bill Walsh this week. We'll see if they can shake it and get started. 1st down. Todd on the dash out to the left. He's got extra time. Look out. Intercepted at the 2-yard line by Dwight Hicks. Hicks at the 25. Fumbles the ball and recovers his own fumble at the 30-yard line. Toby Brenner, the tight end, made Hicks fumble, but the INT counts.
Well, it looked so good for New Orleans for a while here. Straight drop back and then a dash out to the left, and he's got all day to look out here now. He goes down the middle. Dwight Hicks playing free safety, perfect center field. Ball was just up there too long in that area of the field.
Boy, Hicks looked like he might have laid off a little bit too and waited for the throw, huh?
Sure, he baited him. He was back there in perfect position, and he was as deep as the deepest receiver, and that's what you have to be when you're the free safety back there and kind of play like center field.
A 28-yard interception run back by Dwight Hicks. Can you imagine the Philadelphia Eagles cut Hicks on the last day of the season 3 seasons ago? Impossible. The first opponent's turnover, and a big one because it kept the Saints from getting on that scoreboard first.
Hard to believe when they're 2-0.
Possible. Montana quickly throwing outside. This is Craig. Don't call him a fullback. He's too fast for that. He's to the 43-yard line very quickly. Johnny Poe made the tackle there.
Guy that never caught a pass in college at Nebraska. He was a tailback for a while. Then they moved him up to fullback to block for Jarvis Redwine and people like that. Bruce Clark right here, who had such a big game last week for the Saints. Double team. Keith Fahnhorst getting help from Earl Cooper, the tight end. Going to have to see a lot of that today, I bet.
Fahnhorst and Clark. That'll be some kind of a matchup the entire day. Fahnhorst just came off early on Bruce.
Trying to get an early lick in, didn't he?
That's not too bad either, unless you're detected.
Fahnhorst right there is probably the 49ers' best offensive lineman. He's had all-pro years the last couple of years, but without the recognition that goes along with it.
Well, we're going to take care of that this season. I thought he did a great job on several good people already this season. He retired the Redskins defensive left end almost the other night.
He had 3 games last year where the guy he was playing against didn't even get in on a tackle, a shutout.
And no sacks so far this year. Cooper's the motion man. Inside handoff. Roger Craig gallops to just short of midfield, and I mean gallops. He had his knees right up under his chin.
Over that right side again, Fahnhorst, the right tackle, Randy Cross, the right guard. Kind of an influence, and Clark took a step out, and Craig made a good cut up inside. Fred Quillen had a job on Derlin Moore, the nose tackle, and it was a good-looking play for San Francisco.
Earl Cooper made a pretty good block on that linebacker to straighten him, but that's a tough block. A 12-yard gain by Roger Craig. I'll tell you, that's a good tandem in there. Craig and Wendell Tyler. It's the eye. It's Tyler. Tyler spinning. Look out. That's what he's the best. Tyler spins to the 35-yard line. He might fumble a few, but he makes some runs that nobody else makes. You can't quit if you're on defense against him.
He turned a 2-yard loss into a big gain. Ricky Jackson's blitzing down. Now watch him blitz down from the left of your screen. He cuts inside the lead block. He's back there. He has Tyler wrapped up, and he spins away from him. A good spin move into the secondary, and he picks up the yardage.
Boy, Ayers made some block at left guard, too. He took Kovacs and turned him all the way around, didn't he?
And I thought Ricky Jackson made a heck of a play at outside linebacker and came up empty.
There's the The hack's getting larger each year because his team is better. 8-8 last year, and they're talking playoff. First quarter action. This is Craig piling in, trying to get to the 30 and stacked up there. Remember, the Saints were the #1 defensive team in the NFC and second overall in the entire NFL. They're fast and they're very large. And the 49ers, Wayne Walker, seemed to talk a lot about speed, and they said this team defensively has really good foot speed, don't they?
Great quickness, and that's why their blitzing is so effective. Now, they've blitzed a lot against everyone. Last year against the 49ers, they didn't blitz that much. San Francisco, I thought they'd see a lot, and so far they have.
Second down. Call it 6-5 if you're a 49ers fan. Montana's got a lot of time. Solomon, touchdown. Freddie Solomon coming in from the post position carries Russell Gary right into the end zone. What a throw by Montana.
Solomon lined up wide outside, came down the line in motion, kind of faked the block at the tight end, and then cut it up the middle. He was in like a seam of his own all the time. The free safety came over, took a shot at him, and missed him. And he fell in the end zone. See right there, he was in so close to the line of scrimmage, he kind of got lost in there. Montana spotted him between people, and Russell Gary couldn't keep him out of the end zone.
A 32-yard touchdown pass right in the seam, and a beautiful throw and catch. Wersing's extra point is perfect, as he has been all year so far. Tom Dooley's making the signal, but Montana and Solomon that cash in. It's 7-0 San Francisco.
I tell you, you look at Solomon sometimes, I think he kind of lulls the defensive backs a little. He looks like a high school guard. He's real chunky below the waist, got real thick legs, and he doesn't feel like he'd be very fast, and he's just about the quickest player that the 49ers have.
I think he jives the little guys in practice, too. I think he acts like he's not going to be very fast until game time. Wersing's kickoff. This is Jeter Fields is waiting down there, and Kenny Duckett. Boy, this is a deep kick. Ray gets it 2 yards deep in the end zone, and it's Jeter Fields coming up with it. Now he's hemmed in just out over the 16-yard line and piled up with red. A typical San Francisco start, though. They hold off, get an interception, and keep the Saints off the board, then come quickly down the field and strike on their first series.
And I mentioned that it was very important for New Orleans to get off to a good start. So even though we are early in this ball game, this is a fairly crucial offensive series for the Saints. They've either got to at least pick up some first downs to keep the 49ers away from good field position when they have to punt if they don't score.
Inside drive to George Rogers, who has really hit. How he held on to the ball, I don't know. Running straight up, and Jack Reynolds really straightened up the 218-pound tailback. One of the great runners that's come in his league in a long time, but somehow he managed to hold on to the ball.
Yeah, you're talking about finishing off a run. He was the one that finished off that one. Dwight Hicks came up late to try to get him, and Rogers laid a pretty good shot at him.
Richard Todd, the new arm for New Orleans. First down and 10. For you people that have watched Minnesota shock Atlanta 27-20, and of course neither of the teams that you're going to be watching here at Candlestick Park will mind that a bit. It's San Francisco 7-0 over New Orleans. First time the 49ers had the ball, a 32-yard touchdown pass. Joe Montana to Freddie Solomon. Right now the Saints have the ball, and a penalty was called against that tough 49er defense, and you are with us at Candlestick Park. Tom Brookshire and Wayne Walker.
There's a penalty right here. It was on the right cornerback, Ronnie Lott. Remember, Eddie is Lindsey Scott. Watch Lott's right elbow. He tries to take a shot at him right here.
The ball was already gone, right?
That almost might get you out of the ball game.
Of course, Ronnie Lott has moved from left corner to right corner, and if anything, he's become more aggressive. And that's hard to imagine. First and 10. The Saints had a good drive that was stifled by an interception. Now the blitzing side came from the left, and George Rogers maybe made 2 yards as Carlton Williamson came up in the secondary and went in behind the play.
Not quite sure whether he blitzed that time or whether he just crept up and read the block of the tight end and knifed down and made the play, but he was there immediately.
Richard Todd has had big numbers before against San Francisco. In fact, he had the most completions in the record book in the NFL, 42, but that was in 1980, wasn't it? Second down, and call it 9. Todd, screen pass out to guys down in the flat. Hokie gets to the 44. Good defensive play by Williamson. And now the nickel people come in. You know the trouble that they gave Washington for at least a half or 3/4. And they gave Detroit a real good game, too, even though they're not physically overpowering on the line of scrimmage.
I think it's their best defense. 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers with great quickness, and then 5 defensive backs.
Freddie Dean, of course, the master, is not in a San Francisco uniform. Here it is on 3rd down and 9. Todd, deep drop. He's being hit, throws a bad interception as Ronnie Lott comes back to the 45-yard line of New Orleans. Dwayne Board put a big pass rush on Todd and forced the INT.
I'd say it's a second interception by Richard, and it's another, fairly shaky throw. This is another one where perhaps he didn't have anything going over there. If you look right there, he's going for number 88, Eugene Goodlow. He did get hit just as he threw, but in that situation, I think that was a little bit more than a hope.
And Chris Ward, the former Jets, playing left tackle, and that time Ward just beat him. It's 7-0 San Francisco. And on the ground. Here's Montana going to Solomon at the 30-yard line, and Solomon falls to the 27-yard line. Russell Gary hanging on there, and Montana looks razor sharp. Now, he does have a flak jacket on, but does he wear that all the time, Wayne Walker?
Well, he does. He took a shot in the ribs against Washington and had a flak jacket on for protection. Watch this throw. Everything is on the money with him so far this season. In 3 games, no interceptions. He didn't have any interceptions during the playoffs last year and in the first 2 games this season. And we watched him in practice the other day, and every ball he threw in practice was right on the money. He's just in a groove right now.
And Gary said that nobody they play has the vision that Joe Montana does, that he can look around and know who's open. Play action pass. Montana going for it all. Going for Clark and overthrowing at the goal line. Closely covered and well covered by Johnny Poe and company. In 2 weeks on CBS Sports Saturday, Gary Cooney takes on Philip Brown in a 10-round heavyweight bout live from Anchorage, Alaska. Cooney hasn't fought, of course, since losing his bid to take the heavyweight title from Larry Holmes in June of '82. Join us all for the action in 2 weeks. CBS Sports Saturday, Cooney against Brown.
Hey, gentleman Jim Corbett has a more recent fight than Jerry Cooney has.
That's right.
Keeps getting hurt in training.
That's the best time to get hurt, I guess, if you're going to have an injury. 2nd down and 10. Montana inside handoff. Craig. Good speed on this young running back, who's not as big as a lot of fullbacks, but he's got great speed, and he catches the ball well, too. Whitney Paul and Bruce Clark combining there. And this is a mammoth defensive ball club that the 49ers are facing. And it's still quick. Ronnie Lott's first interception of 1984 that just took place. The team's 2nd for the year. All right, 3rd down and 7. Solomon is to the bottom and Dwight Clark to the top of your screen. Montana overthrowing Craig at about the 10-yard line. That's the first time in the 3 days or 2 days we've been here that his ball has not been caught.
Craig running an inside circle pattern on the outside linebacker Ricky Jackson that time and had a step. But Montana overthrew him.
Now, Wersing hasn't missed a field goal from the 40 in 26 shots.
26 in a row from
He won't look up.
40.
He won't look up. Montana will hold. But he has a good stroke going right now. This will be a 42-yarder. It's blocked. Number 94 got a hand up very quickly, Jim Wilkes. And now the run back takes place. That's Russell Gary with the ball. Russell Gary has Montana to beat. Montana knocks him down at the 28-yard line.
And Montana may be hurt.
He's slow getting up, and Russell Gary, the little Nebraskan, took the blocked field goal attempt by Wersing that snaps that streak. In fact, it blows it to smithereens. What a play by Russell Gary.
As you mentioned, it looked like it was Jim Wilkes, number 94, who got a hand on it. It deflected it just over the line. Russell Gary picked it up, made a move like he was going to start right, I think, and then took out to the left and had nothing but the wide open spaces. Got one block, and it was Montana that had to make the stopper down there. This will end up, look at this. He starts out here, makes a cutback, and he was in good shape. 59 yards on that return.
Illegal block by Wilkes. It was Wilkes. He stayed on the line of scrimmage and just jumped. That's Rogers piling right in there inside the 25. A 59-yard run back of a blocked field goal attempt by Russell Gary, and the Saints are in business. May have been a little low anyway, Wayne.
May have been a little low, and it looked like they had pretty good penetration. Look at 94 back there, so you see him appear that soon. So he did have a pretty good push.
They're not allowed to take off from 5 yards and run anymore because of the human pyramid effect.
What a great cutback right here that he made.
He is some tough little guy, and he wasn't afraid to go out and face the 49ers. We talked to him yesterday. He looked like he was looking forward to it. Rogers inside the 30. Don't let the big fella get going. Don't let him begin to sweat like a real good thoroughbred racehorse and say, hey, I'm going to have one of those 200-yard days.
It's a long day for you on defense if you do that. Now, this New Orleans got to come up with something on the scoreboard this possession after that break, Tom. They got to get things picked up again on their side. That was a good play by the defense to get the ball back, but the offense has got to do something with it now.
Opening game of 1983, I watched Rogers go 76 yards against St. Louis. He ran over 2 secondary people and then made a couple others miss him and then ran off and left him. He's quite a load.
We talked to Carlton Williamson yesterday at the 49ers practice and said the best way to play against George Rogers is to keep him running sideways. That's tough to do, though.
Don't let him get turned upfield, huh? There's a Saint on the field. We'll give you the Edelman, the big guard, is there. It looks like he's going to be up and around, and New Orleans has the football. Going, and George Rogers already has 27 yards early in this first period. 3rd down and 2. Uh-oh. Looks like the flanker on the outside move. Rogers breaks off inside the 10. Rogers is going to score, and the flags are down. They're going to call it back. John Tice moved early.
Oh, they had it going. Oh, there are 2 tight ends on the same side. One of them jumped.
The second most penalized team is Bum Phillips' team in the NFC. And boy, when you have a touchdown run by one of your stars, it hurts.
82 offense, 3rd down.
On John Tice, the tight end. He had double tight end alignment on the same side of the field. Obie Brenner was the regular tight end. Tice was like a wing back set outside of him. He jumped. That's one of those formations where they just tell you where they're coming. George is going to run over here behind us, and you try to stop him. They didn't get him stopped. They stopped themselves. And he's not happy, Bum Phillips.
Bum Phillips is not at all. You sometimes cannot tell elation from rejection, but he is not happy with this. Now it's 3rd down and long. 3rd and 8. Todd, he over almost. Gross had the ball and then let it go on through. No flags are down, and Dwight Hicks really had him covered. Let's go to New York City for an update. Brent Musburger. Brent?
Rookie, the New York Giants have evened up the count against the Washington Redskins. I don't know where the Giants are getting these new wide receivers from. Here's one out of Annapolis, 5 years in the Navy, Phil McConkey. That set up the Buck for the touchdown, and now it is 7-7.
Okay, Brent. Phil Simms has gone out of his mind with the Giants. All tied up. Morton Anderson now with a 42-yard field goal attempt of his own, and it's off to the left. Pulled a little bit by the left footer. Obviously, a San Francisco crowd welcomed the event. Tough ball game. San Francisco 7, Saints 0. To the San Francisco 49ers since '79, Bill Walsh. Super Bowl a couple of years ago. Thinks he might be heading back that way again. I can't disagree with that. 1st down, Montana, quickly waggling right. Solomon's open at the 40. Solomon knocked out of bounds at the 47-yard line. Watlet had to come over after Solomon made the other safety man miss.
Brookie, they went slot way over to the left, and Solomon was the only receiver over on this side of the field and left him one-on-one here with Dave Waymer. Made an in move, took it out with his quickness, and you see the space he had. He is the quickest player they have.
You know, Todd made a good point when he talked to us. He used to have to throw with the Jets just a drop and throw to a blind spot, whereas Montana's allowed to read It looks like the receivers and everybody plays better when you read and throw. Handoff to Wendell Tyler. Bounced outside. There's a flag on the play. Good defensive play by Dennis Dirt Winston.
Winston and Kovac, both of them over there. Good team defense by those two inside linebackers.
It always looked to me like Montana could go quickly to one of 2 or 3 other receivers if Solomon had been covered.
Most of the time on their patterns, they'll cut the field in half for him, and he'll have...
81 offense. Penalty is declined. It's second down.
I stopped to listen to the call, but he'll have his receivers lined up on one side of the field and his primary receiver and the secondary usually on the same side of the field for him, so he doesn't have to scan the whole field.
Okay, second down. Penalty refused by New Orleans. They would rather burn it down than force Montana further back with the penalty. Craig is the remaining back. It's really a double wing situation. Montana dumps it out to Craig. Craig into New Orleans territory to the 45, and Kovac made a shoestring tackle.
Not too many people know that young man, but he did have a sensational rookie year last year for the 49ers. 33, Roger Craig. He was we said he played tailback some in Nebraska, enough to be the fourth leading rusher of all time in Nebraska, and they've had some good ones. And he's got great hands, exceptional speed, and he's a tough runner. You saw on that ball, he'll make the catch and just straight turn it upfield. He does not go sideways.
It's true. Osborne doesn't let him throw the ball very much, does he? But he does have good hands. Third down and 3. The dash outside by Montana. Open and hit in the back is Wendell Tyler. Tyler at the 39. I believe Kovac is the one that stuck him.
There it is right here now. Nothing to fool you right here. It wasn't even play action. Montana drops back straight and then dashes out. Tyler comes out, runs a turn underneath the linebackers. Kovac makes the hit. Jackson over there to try to help out. But it's the first down.
And inside the 40. Again, those offensive linemen for San Francisco know that Montana is going to stay in the particular area where he starts out. So they know how to block, and it gives them a good angle. Motion man is Russ Francis. Hawker back to the weak side. Goes Tyler outside. Tyler inside the 30. And running over Russell Gary to get there.
And a great block by Roger Craig. We talked about his running ability just to play before. He was the lead back that time. Had the block on the cornerback Dave Waymer, number 44, and had him on the ground.
On the field, number 74, Derlin Moore, is slow getting up. The big Oklahoman. He's been playing with a bad wheel. And
yes, he has.
But he still starts every game, you know. I think he started darn near every game since he's been there.
He's a tough one, I'll tell you that. He's one of the few guys that will actually raise his hand and say, I like to play nose tackle. I mean, that's like saying you like to be a catcher without equipment.
And he was always really a four-man line inside tackle till Bum Phillips took over at 81. Derlin's going to be helped off. That ankle's bothering. Don't forget, next week, the doubleheader on CBS. The NFL Today starts it all with the group back in New York. Then it's the 49ers against the Eagles back at Vet Stadium, or St. Louis and these New Orleans Saints down in New Orleans, or the Washington Redskins against New England up in New England. So check your local listing. That second game is Chicago-Seattle or Green Bay against Dallas. So check your local listings, will you, for those doubleheader games. We've got a good one here. And make no mistake that Bill Walsh did not want to go into the second half in a close match with this team. He said there are too many stars on the Saints team to go in there and take them lightly.
And they got a rookie nose tackle in and now for Derlin Moore, Don Thorpe, number 96.
First and 10, 7 first downs for San Francisco. Tyler almost leaned on his stance, but didn't get the call. Interference call. They're going to call Watlett. Pretty good play on the ball by the safety man. John Frank was trying to catch it.
Well, I think you and I will like it because we played on defense, and to me that looked like a pretty good defensive play. We'll just have to take a look at it.
It's not supposed to be anybody's ball. It's supposed to be anybody's ball, when A team or B team.
Defense, first down.
Watlett, the free safety. Right here now. Throw down the middle. Watch him close. He's going for the ball with both hands. Wow.
Pretty tough call.
Yes, sir.
Another first down on the penalty. Craig is in there, and Monroe. That was Carl Monroe trying for that, and Montana did rush that one a bit as the rush came from number 57, Ricky Jackson. Scores from elsewhere, the Giants and the Redskins 7-all. You saw that Sims touchdown. The Giants are hanging pretty tough. They're 2-0, and the Redskins 0-2. Chicago 9-7, a final. It couldn't be snowing up in Green Bay this time.
I was just going to say that's typical of that division. No, it's caveman division, I used to call it. Played in it for a few years.
Forrest Gregg has changed their attitude. They're playing defense. Minnesota beating Atlanta. What a great upset for the Vikings. First win of the year. Second down and goal. Francis in motion. Toss back to the weak side. Wendell Tyler. Good defensive play on the right side. Number 26. I believe it was Jenner Fields that came up.
I think Johnny Poe.
Johnny Poe, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you bet. He made a good play. Roger Craig came out again on a lead block, almost the same as they ran a couple plays ago to the other side. He got the initial block on Poe, but Poe battled him off and came back and made a tremendous defensive play.
Three of these secondary people for the Saints are from the Big Eight. Nebraska, a couple of Nebraskans and a Missourian, and then throw in a Notre Damer, and you got a pretty darn good young secondary. And Bum Phillips has really changed this profile of this ball club. All right, third down and goal. Montana doesn't want to waste this drive. 23 seconds left in the first period. Clark takes the inside and gets his first sack, and very emphatically. Bruce Clark made the tackle.
Bum Phillips said that Bruce Clark played the best game I've ever seen a defensive lineman play, and he just beat Keith Fahnhorst there with a bull rush and a quick move to the outside. And I'll tell you that New Orleans defense has been doing a pretty good job because they have not had good field position, and as Wershing lines up, he might not get it off for the quarter in.
Wershing does not get it off. That was pulled left anyway, so Ray obviously would rather have another shot go in the other direction. He was kicking that one from second base here at the infield at Candlestick Park. Let's see if they're going to stop it and move it down to the other end and give him another tee shot. That's a mulligan.
Yeah, it sure is.
You don't get many of those, do you? Let's see.
The quarter ended before the kick.
And Ray Wershing breathes for the first time. End of quarter one. Advantage San Francisco. New Orleans is coming on hot. For Montana, the holder at the 21, so it's a 31-yard attempt. He had missed the one left as the quarter ended. This one is dead solid, perfect, and it's long enough. It is. And the crowd stands up in the beautiful sunshine and says, nice going, Ray. So San Francisco, first seconds of the second period. It's 10-0. Wershing's field goal good.
Kick, it's another low kick. Watch number 97 leaping up there, got a hand on it, deflected it. The ball still had enough carry to get across the crossbar. So a double sigh of relief for that man, Ray Wershing.
And Geathers, of course, the big rookie at 6'7", the defensive end. They're trying to block those, and they must have looked at those movies and thought they could do it because they blocked the Wershing field goal already. Duckett's waiting for the Wershing field goal. Ray kicks it to the left. That's Duckett. Duckett running parallel with the 15-yard line, gets out over the 20, and the 49ers collar him there. Ray looks like he might be worrying a little bit. He's shaking his head coming off. Kickers are a different breed anyway, but he's one of the most normal we've ever known.
Look at the New Orleans defense shaking their head a little bit now. They've played a real fine ball game so far. Now they're looking at that offense as they come off the field and say, come on, guys, do something for us here now.
I tried to figure out how the Atlanta Falcons inside drive. Rogers from Todd. Not much there, maybe a yard. Keena Turner. By the way, Keena's a lovely lady at, what, 9 o'clock last night had a daughter, Sheena.
That's what
so
they
Keena had Sheena.
Keena and his wife, Therese.
Some player. An 8 1/4 pound baby girl named Sheena. Congratulations. Second down and 8 to go. Todd looks like he's changing this play. Inside drive. Rogers hit as soon as he took the ball by what? That's Wayne Wilson, I'm sorry, with the ball. Wayne Wilson was hit immediately from the offside by Dwayne Board. Don't forget, next Saturday, college football on CBS. The #1 rated Nebraska Cornhuskers will go against the #7 rated Bruins of UCLA at 3:30 Eastern Time.
Bruins have been waiting for this one, I think. They played San Diego State and Long Beach State, and they haven't shown too much. They may be laying in the weeds for this one.
Nebraska beat them 42-10 a year ago, so if revenge can be a motive, the U fans will be ready. Next Saturday on CBS. The stunning 49ers are handled. Todd now is going to run, being chased and tackled from behind by Dwayne Board. What a chase by the defensive end.
Todd dropped from behind by Dwayne
Flags are down.
Fourth down.
But nothing nullifies that kind of hustle by a 248-pounder.
Sir, one more step, and Richard Todd had a first down picked up.
How much does the 49er defense miss Freddie Dean on that particular call on the four-man front?
A lot more than the New Orleans offense misses him. And it was at a game here last year, the 27-0 game. Dean 6 sacks.
Disregard the flag. There is no foul. The quarterback was out of the pocket.
Good job downfield by the 49ers secondary. Todd with plenty of time originally here. Makes a pump fake, looking down, finds no one open. Bails out. Looks like he's got the room. Number 76, Dwayne Board, the guy they call Pee-wee. In an effort, grabbed an ankle and stopped it about a yard short of the first down.
The flag was picked up and put back in the pocket. Tom Dooley is the head man out there. I like to see that once in a while when they're instantaneously dropped. If it's in an error, they can put them away. The players have to make the decisions that quickly. We even have to up here. Fourth down and short. Maybe about a yard. So Hanson is going to come in to punt. He's the young man from Sioux Falls. McLemore, who had that 55-yard return against Detroit. Now this young man once kicked a 94-yarder. This is not, however, a 94-yarder. McLemore at the 32. McLemore picking up 2 blocks. McLemore now cutting back inside and drilled at the 34. He's a great little punt returner. He does bring them to their feet. Terry Hogue made the tackle there. And so, with 12:32 left before half, it's 10-0 San Francisco. Certainly not ever forgotten as far as I'm concerned. He's been a great player in this league.
Sure has.
He's watching the other Alabaman, Richard Todd, and should be needed. Sabres ready to go. That's Wendell Tyler quickly to the 41-yard line. You know, Dick Vermeil, Wendell Tyler's old coach at UCLA, told me he was one of the few backs he ever saw that could make a cut in the hole and go somewhere else as he's going into a hole. The blocking sealed off. He's quite a player.
Gets that line of scrimmage pretty quickly, too.
Other scores, the Rams on top of Pittsburgh 7-0 in the first period. Rams have been rather disappointing up till now. Detroit 7-0 over Tampa Bay. And Indianapolis trailing St. Louis and losing 34-33. Francis comes back in motion, and this ball is overthrown. A lot of heat that time on Montana. And the Saints defense is really battling, but how long can they keep it up?
That was Whitney Paul, number 51 right there, the right outside linebacker who came in on the blitz.
He's a great athlete. He high jump 6'10" in Colorado.
Yeah, he can run. Another one of those guys with great quickness. They can leave him in there in a nickel situation, and he can run with all the backs.
Wendell Tyler coming out, and Derek Harmon is in now. But Carl Monroe is in now. Monroe, good coming out of the backfield. Of course, this is 3rd down and 4. Monroe coming across the middle now. There he is, gets the ball. Oh, and he gets nailed. Great tackle at the 43-yard line. Bobby Johnson waited for him to come across and then settled the issue. Both of them are shaken up a little bit.
There's Monroe in motion. You'll see him go right to left. The ball snapped. Then you'll see him go left to right about 8 yards deep in the secondary. Here he waits for Russ Francis to clear, and here he comes. Montana delivers. And Johnson, the nickelback, made a saver. He stopped the first down by 1st and 10 by about a foot with a good hit.
Great example of how Walsh and company clear out that area and bring that back through there, huh? Maxie Runniger back for his second punt for San Francisco, and Jitter Fields is waiting. This is a short kick. This is not going to make Bill Walsh very happy. He signed Runniger just this week.
Well, the fans here aren't too happy about it, but Runniger should be used to those boos because he played 6 years in Philly. Your own hometown.
They boo you there warming up. The one thing that Walsh worries about, the kicking game. San Francisco leads 10-0. And Todd never acted like he saw the linebacker. Buns has got to go 235.
Off of bootleg action, they faked a sweep to the right, and then Todd kept it on his hip. Rolled out towards you here, ground level. Watch this. Fakes a sweep right there. Rolls out here. Buns is 57.
They must have thought Buns was going to come up and force the play.
Remember, Todd loop it over him, but just didn't have the touch on it.
Todd calls his own offensive plays with some help from the sideline. Montana play action on the first down. Out to Wendell Tyler. Makes the linebacker miss at the 30 and gets to the 15-yard line. Waymer made the stop. Ricky Jackson missed him when he first made the catch.
Now, how do you suppose, the great backs have instinct, don't they? He's watching that ball, concentrating on making the catch. He caught it. Ricky Jackson's bearing down on him about 2 feet from him when he makes the catch, and he makes some kind of move that we'll never know what it is to avoid the tackle out there.
Richard Todd, but he is out from jail. He is away from New York City. Believe me, does he love it deep south compared to playing in a Jet uniform. However, he's had the interceptions, 3 of them so far. Montana back to work, going up for Dwight Clark. Good secondary coverage by New Orleans, and Montana gets up.
Said that Richard Todd calls his own plays, but usually the first play of a series, and the coaches send in so they know what to expect. So that interception was the first play of a series.
I'm sure they did. Of all of the offense in a quarter of a season. Montana back on second down and 10. Good throw. Clark catches it at the 5 and tries to get up. Johnny Poe touched him down. That might have been the only place they could complete that pass.
I think so too. Here it is, isolated now on Clark. Watch what he does. Drives him off. He'll make a pivot. Right there, it's open. He's down on one team. Montana was right on him all the time. Didn't want to go anywhere else.
Some throw, huh? The opening drive was by the Saints. They drove down, and the interception by Dwight Hicks stopped that one. And from then, it's been San Francisco, and perhaps San Francisco again. It's a 10-0 lead. Craig and Tyler. Toss. Back to Wendell Tyler. A lot of Saints there. Oh, and he straightened up at about the 3-yard line. But don't ever feel sorry for number 26. I've seen him knocked out 3 times and come back in the Super Bowl against the Rams, or with the Rams against Pittsburgh. He's a tough little guy.
Oh, this is good defense. They're playing good defense today. Johnny Poe, number 25, comes up. Does a good job of forcing. Look at that. Oh, you don't hit any better than that at the corner position, Brookie. That was a textbook tackle.
I know. Wendell went over teacups, as they say in the dressing room trade. It's second down and goal. Drive. Power drive to the right side. Wendell Tyler scores. 5th touchdown for number 26.
Craig on a lead block. Tyler does the rest, struggles it in after finding a seam. That's his 5th touchdown of the season. As Tommy told you, that's tops in the National Football League.
Wergy now to try the extra point. Ray's life has been a little up and down today. This one is up. Boy, what has been a very viciously played defensive game by New Orleans has turned into what looks like a rout. San Francisco 17, New Orleans stuff again. He does that because of the near-fatal accident he had in 1980 and recovered. And I'll tell you one thing, he's some player. Kenny Duckett waits for Wersching's kick at the 9-yard line. Duckett makes a good break and gets the wedge out to about the 25-yard line. Bill Ring making the tackle there. Incredible statistic. New Orleans with 40 yards on offense. San Francisco with 168. And here comes Snake Stabler.
You know, he said a week or so ago that this old dog hasn't been in his last fight.
He's lost about 35 pounds.
He looks like a triathlete.
There's the other Alabama quarterback, Richard Todd. Did not have a great day, but quarterbacks live to fight again. This guy has been through the wars. He looks like Willie Nelson when he plays like Snake Stabler. The toss. Back to Rogers running the toss outside. Rogers upended at the 30-yard line by Williamson. I had people tell me that if the Saints had come out and just run the toss to the big fella against Atlanta in the opening game, that they were the ones that would have won probably by that same score, and he would have had the 200 and some odd yards rushing, and Stabler just came out. Wayne Wilson and George Rogers in the eye behind the lefty. Stabler throwing a good one. Oh, Tyrone Young fooled with it at the 25 and just couldn't come up with it. Lott was chasing.
You have a new body. He's got a new arm. He sailed that thing downfield. You know, the rap on him here in recent years is that he can't get it deep. You don't throw it any better deeper than this.
Tight spiral, too. A clean pass. Nobody threw a cleaner passes than...
Oh, he wanted this one.
The man dancing, the Cotton Eye Joe right there. Number 16. Good throw and almost a tremendous result. 3rd down and 5. The blitz is on. In and out of the hands of number 88, Goodlow. I'm not so sure Snake.
So they're going to show him that they're going to be coming after him if he's and not let him sit back in that pocket.
Ray Septien's field goal in a very bitter battle with Philadelphia and Dallas. Rams and Pittsburgh still knotted before half. Well, we've got a good one here. Hanson, the punter. He's the young man with the fabled leg. Oh, look at the hang time on this. McLemore's going to finally fair catch one at the 25. That one had ice on it.
It went over the rim of the stadium. It did.
45-yard punt. It took about 10 seconds. And no return. We'll be... Make no mistake, this could be a very, very close game. It's 17-0 right now. Montana. Play action pass, getting a lot of room. He's going to run for it. And now he's going to get out of bounds at the 40 into the New Orleans bench. Pretty casual. Got feet like Fred Astaire. There have been very few quarterbacks that can handle themselves in the pocket and get a ready list of 80 or 90 or 100 plays together like he does any better. He's really a master.
No, they said that Bill Wall said that's the thing that has amazed him most about Montana is his ability to retain an entire game plan and assemble everything and use it all during the course of a ball game.
Vastly underpaid at $1.2 million a year. 1st and 10 for San Francisco. That's Cooper in motion. Inside drive to Craig. Good defense. Good, tough defense on the line of scrimmage. Ricky Jackson got part of it. Kovacs went under. Well, this team led the NFC in total defense a year ago, and everybody was sort of shocked when Riggs and Atlanta tore them up in that opening game. They played Tampa Bay a much better defensive game, but the offense has really sort of sputtered. Montana breaks them out. Skeets Nehemiah. A swift one. to the top of the screen. Second down and 9. Reverse as Clark comes up with the play action. Throws it back to Craig and underthrows. Craig at the 35.
Talked about the scheme of things in the 49er offense. This was a play that was put in just yesterday. After a week's practice, Bill Walsh put in 2 new plays at the Saturday practice, and probably wish he'd have put in just 1.
Poor Craig had to block it. It looked like somebody playing the hot corner. He was right about third base trying to block it. Clark catches him, but he doesn't throw them quite as effectively. Third down and 10 now. Francis is outside. Craig. Good tackle at the 41-yard line by Gary. Russell Gary made an excellent tackle on Craig, and now the flags are down. Looked like maybe the big fellow, Russ Francis, was clearing out and maybe called for a pick. New Orleans will obviously want the football.
Pass interference. Number 81 offense. Penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
The cornerbacks, the old cornerbacks, can always spot those picks, Kane.
Especially with those big guys trying to wade through there. Russ Francis trying to make a pick, and Runninger now back in for his second punt. First one was third punt. Pretty good hang time and a driving kick. Fields is going to run it back, but only to the 17-yard line. Good coverage by San Francisco. Boy, a punt in this stadium is a major event, isn't it?
Well, it really is, and it shouldn't be today. Now, you know, everyone's heard about the winds of Candlestick Park, and that is the case a lot of the time. But this time of year, they're really not here. During the baseball season is when the wind blows here, but right now, it's calm.
Candlestick Park, San Francisco, one of the gorgeous days even the people from the Bay Area will see for a while. This is a beautiful day for football, and the 49ers are laying it on New Orleans. Stabler is the quarterback. George Rogers accelerating to the 25, make it to 24. Remember a couple of years ago, he ballooned up to about 227, had an awful year after that sensational rookie year, and then the big guy went into some kind of an off-season program. When he hit 218, I mean, that's like a trunk. He is strong.
He made a breakaway in a game here and was caught behind by Willie Harper, the 49ers linebacker, and that's when he said that he made up his mind that he would never let that happen again, and he lost the weight.
Good point, Wayne. Good point. Rogers looks like he's beginning to get a little nasty, baby. Out to the 29-yard line, to the 30. Stuckey making the tackle. Stabler has come out and somehow injected some life into that offense. It even looks like the offensive line is coming off.
He's got to some way squeeze 7 points out of this drive. They just got to have 7 to get back in this ball game. They got plenty of time. 5:40 left. He can take him down just at his leisure as long as he gets him there. That's what he's going to try and do.
The first down play action. Stabler running, throwing sort of a waste pitch, and the flags are down. Ronnie Lott cannot believe what is going to happen, but the ball was thrown away from the receiver. Automatic first. They'll move the sticks.
Almost could have been one of those uncatchables.
Keep in mind that the 49ers had Washington.
Number 42, defense, first down.
Keep in mind that the 49ers had Washington whipped on Monday night until the second half. You can punch yourself out and sort of fall back a little bit. It looks like the Saints are getting some energy.
And Lott's coming off with a bad knee. His knee kind of went on. They've got Dana McLemore over there at the right cornerback now.
8 corners. 5:36 left before half, and Stabler's the quarterback. Dumps it to Rogers. Rogers breaks one tackle and does not get rid of Farnhorst, the young linebacker in there making a sure tackle.
In the opening game against Detroit, on the very first play of the game, the 49ers lost their starting right cornerback, Eric Wright. A couple plays later, Ronnie Lott got hurt and had to come out of the ball game. So they played Mario Clark and McLemore some of that game. And now they're back at that again. So they've had problems in a defensive secondary. See if Staver will go right to work on number 43. He's the youngest and most inexperienced over on the right side.
Stabler from the eye. Good pass blocking. Brenner.
And I might carry that one step further. It's just see Stabler, a left-handed passer. He has always favored working that side of the field where they have Dana McLemore now playing the cornerback spot.
Left-hander looking to that side. I guess the vision is there. Always threw one of the finest passes. I always thought it was a fairly short pass until I saw him throw the 50-yarder earlier on that first pass play. A lot of time left in a football game. And this team came on late to beat Tampa Bay in the last 2 minutes a week ago. First and 10. The drive. Rodgers hits, spins. Wayne Wilson in for Rodgers. Excuse me. And maybe a couple of yards, and then they take him back and dump him on the 43. Carlton Williamson there, and big Louis Kelcher. They said they got to weigh him on the air freight scales. What do you figure he's going now?
Well, he's big enough to have a zip code instead of a number.
Some people are estimating 335 or so, huh?
I don't think you can weigh him in the clubhouse. Let's put it that way.
Second down and 10. Stabler. Tyrone Young making a jumping catch at the 29. McLemore hanging on to somebody that is so much taller, of course, 6'6".
You know, basically the 49ers have a blitz unit in there now. They have Ron Ferrari, a real quick linebacker. They have Mike Walter. The call was on McLemore, the cornerback. They have Mike Walter, so they were blitzing Stabler, and he went to work on McLemore, spotted the blitz, one-on-one coverage, and Tyrone Young, who's 6'6", and towers over McLemore, made a fine leaping catch. So Stabler's got him inside the 30.
It was Tyrone that got the team started in the comeback victory over Tampa Bay a week ago. Tyrone Young. Now it's Stabler back. Oh, what a throw sidearm. The guy's out in the flat. Forced out at the 25-yard line by Fonhus. What a sidearm delivery by Stabler. 2 field goals by Septien. That's a tough game. Dallas hasn't broken out yet over the Eagles. Marion Campbell's still a very good defensive coach, isn't he? Detroit with a couple now. 14-0 over Tampa Bay in the second quarter. Washington 13-7 over the Giants. The Giants are still alive in that game. Second down toss back to Rodgers. Stacked up. Just on the grass. Natural turf here, of course, at Candlestick where they're playing baseball. You can still see the infield dirt. When Wayne and I played, this was a common stadium for us to play in. Wouldn't it be like this? The peeled infield and the mound. When I played, they didn't even take the mound off. I could fall down over it trying to cover somebody. Louis Kelcher comes off. Big play for New Orleans. 2:48 before half. Third down 3. Stabler. Got an open receiver. Gross can't get it in the end zone. Just off his fingertips as Hicks and Homo were in his wake.
You know, they might let him go for this again. Here you see it, Stabler. Pretty good protection up front now by the Saints offensive line. Gross, the third down possession type guy, usually catches the ball in a 12 to 15-yard range, but they sent him deep here, and he had it, and Stabler just overthrew him in the end zone.
Timeout Saints.
That's Gummit.
Looks like he's in pretty good shape. He played quite a bit in the preseason. Number 2, they have another quarterback on the Saints that's playing, but right now it's the Snakes in there. Don't forget, the first half of the doubleheader here on CBS, it all starts with the NFL Today with the crew back in New York. Then it's the 49ers against the Eagles, the St. Louis Cardinals against New Orleans, the Redskins against New England. That's the first game that you can take your choice of. And then that second half, the crazy Chicago Bears against the Seattle Seahawks or Green Bay against Dallas.
What do you get, man, in that situation?
Remember what he told us yesterday was he does not want to go into the fourth quarter in a close game with this team because they have too many people that can make it happen in one play. Fourth down. And 3. Stabler. Complete to Tyrone. Mario Clark pushing him out there. I'll tell you, Tyrone Young runs a good pass pattern.
Nice-looking young receiver, and this guy doesn't work this side of the field much. Look over here now. First he went left, and he went down the middle and brought it over here right on time. This was a timing pattern, kind of a comeback pattern. We haven't seen that in the league in a long time, but Tyrone Young ran it, took it down about 12 and brought it back to about the 10-yard mark, and Stabler had it right on his numbers.
A 12-yarder, as you can see, the clock heading for that 2-minute warning. It'll come before Snake gets to squeeze off another round, as they say in Western talk. 17-0, 2 minutes before halftime, and the Saints are still in this ball game, folks.
A new series here for the Saints, and they like to know what's going on out there in this situation.
He's a fun coach to play for. All those players love it. Here's the toss to George Rogers. Going to get outside. Look out. Now they're cutting back. Rogers inside the 10 and then stacked up as Buns and Williamson gang up on the tailback.
Battle of quick people out there, wasn't it? You know, we've talked about the quickness of New Orleans' defensive unit. San Francisco much the same way. Watch this team defense here. Kind of a counter right there with a fullback going left and then almost an inside type handoff. Watch Williamson 27, Buns 57 out. And a good team position there on defense.
Good defense. A pick up of, call it 2. Second down 8. Stabler going for a touchdown. Has it. Tyrone Young. And I don't know why he doesn't start on this Saints team, but I'd sure have him warmed up somewhere and have him ready, because he took that one a perfect strike at dead full gallop for a touch.
He's a youngster. They're playing him more and more. Just his second year from Florida, 6'6", 200 pounds, and a great throw by number 16. Just a great throw. He threw it into double coverage, but waited for the exact moment for him to clear. Ronnie Lott, Dwight Hicks, both there. Watch this. Huh? The only place it could be.
That's Cork.
Yeah.
Tyrone Young with a touch, and we said the Saints are back. Morton Anderson's kick is good. An 8-yard touchdown pass from the Snake to Tyrone Young just before halftime, and I think we have a new football game.
Hey, Brookie, 120 left. That's a lot of time for Montana.
Saints got the ball and drove down and then had an interception, Todd's interception, and seemed to lose a little of their inspirational feel, and then they've gotten it back under Snake Stabler. '49ers now will get a chance to field and run back the kickoff. Don't forget at halftime the scores and highlights of all the games with Brett and Irv back in the studio in New York, and then Irv Cross does a Legends of the Game, a fellow that we got to know very well, and Bob Hayes, the Olympic sprinter who played for the Cowboys and these 49ers. Should be a great halftime show right here on CBS. There's some discussion as to whether it was Goodlow or Tyrone Young that scored that touchdown. We're getting a
89. It looked like 89 to me. They're saying upstairs it was 88. I don't know. I might bet on us on that one. We'll see.
We'll find out. It was a touchdown. The Saints know that. Guy gets the sport coat. They can decide that back in New Orleans on Monday. Monroe and Harmon back to return. Morton Anderson. The young Dane. It's a good high kick. It's going to be short, but it's high. Harmon at the 10. Harmon breaks one tackle, 2 tackles. With a 32 and out of bounds, stopping the clock and saving a minute 14 for the offense. I was trying to explain to somebody the other day what San Francisco looked like, and I said they might be one of the most intelligent teams that I've seen, that every player seems to fit, and they know how to play their particular position very well. You know, not with outstanding ability in all cases, just good football players.
Yeah, they all have roles. There's a lot of role players on the team, and they all accept that and spread the wealth around.
1st and 10. Montana back to throw. Going for the corner pattern, intercepted by Johnny Poe. Johnny Poe, if he gets to that other sideline, but Solomon's chasing him, and Russ Francis and Solomon bury him at the 35. Look out, folks. There's still a minute left on the clock, and I don't see any yellow flags on the field. Surprise, a first down pass.
Montana's first interception of the year. 17-yard return by Poe. It looked like he rolled off on his own, no one there, and then kind of drifted back. Montana thought he'd stay in the flat, but he drifted back, made the interception, and then I'll tell you what, he showed pretty good speed going all the way across the field and getting out of bounds and stopping the clock at 59 seconds.
A classy defensive job by the Saints, and now Stabler hasn't turned on. The Saints blitz. Stabler's knocked down, and the 49ers are going to be called for roughing. Jeff Fuller blitzed, and the Snake man unloaded.
Now, you got to take care of the old folks back there. I'll guarantee you that if that would have been a rookie quarterback, this probably wouldn't have been called. But you got to protect the people that are in the archives, or going to be in the archives.
Roughing a passer. 27 defense.
That was pretty late, I think. They called Williamson on it, but I think 2 or 3 people could have been flagged.
Put in the blitz on him, but he had the right play call for that blitz. It was a screen pass, and had he been able to complete it, might have done some business.
They're chanting for defense now. You worry about Snake Stabler's like worried about Willie Nelson's guitar. It looks like it's going to fall apart, but it plays good. Stabler's numbers in less than a quarter. The draw play to Wilson. Boy, good defense there. They were waiting for that one. Bonhus, the young linebacker, the little brother of the big tackle.
You know that Snake was anticipating a blitz again that time and hoped that he could hand it off on the draw and pop a long one.
Remember, these 49ers, it looked like they had the Redskins knocked out at halftime.
They had them down 3 times, didn't they?
Yeah, and then they sort of let them come back, and then it became a fire eater. And Bum Phillips is the kind of guy that coaches, hey, keep cool. Remember before the Tampa game, he said, let's just stay cool, guys. We're going to be all right. We're going to win some games.
When we get excited, let's get excited about the 6th or 7th week of the season, not the 1st or 2nd week.
There's Norm Hecker talking to Dwight Hicks about the secondary coverages with the nickel and how many people. There's Rhodes is also in there, the coach. And Walsh stays back and keeps an ear in that huddle, but lets his people have their authority, doesn't he?
Norm Hecker is on the headset with George Seifert, who is the defensive coordinator, who is upstairs in the press box. The 49ers do a lot of things on defense. They show you as many fronts and mixed defenses and can confuse a quarterback as well as any defense in the league.
Well, what are you anticipating from Bum Phillips and company and King Hill and those offensive people for New Orleans? Are you thinking about something very quick?
Well, I'm thinking about the tendencies that number 16, Ken Stabler, over the years. In the first 2 games in New Orleans played, the tight ends only caught 1 pass. Historically, Stabler likes to use the tight end. Remember when it was Dave Casper with the Raiders, and with Mike Barber when he was down at Houston. So I wouldn't be surprised that he kind of looks over the middle and might want to get one to that big tight end, Hobie Brenner.
Now, McLemore is playing the right corner. As we told you, Lott has been out. Stabler out to Wilson, and he drops the football. It was not a lateral, but it was close. 40 seconds left on the clock here at Candlestick.
And the reason they have Wayne Wilson in the ballgame right now is that he's a much better pass receiver than George Rogers. But Snake threw that ball a little bit hard and a little bit low on the attempt to get the screen off.
And now Goodlow comes in, number 88. With a play, too. Got some outside receivers. We'll try to set them for you. Groth is to the top of the screen. Tyrone, Young, and Goodlow to the bottom. Right to the bottom. Stabler running the inside draw play to Wilson to the 15-yard line. The clock is running at 33-32. Louis Kelcher recovering and making a big tackle. What else could it be with Louis Kelcher?
going to let the time run off here and get the field goal unit in. It's 18-17 and counting now, as you can see.
And young Anderson had missed his first field goal earlier of the season, so he is a very dependable, good kicker. As Bum Phillips told me yesterday, he says that Anderson kid, he's not a fake. He's a football player, too. You know how Bum feels about specialists. And so, with 4 seconds left at halftime, what was a laugher for the people here in the beautiful sun of Northern California is now going to get very close. That's Anderson.
Berkey, he may have a problem. He's a left-footed kicker, and when this ball is set down, it's on the hash mark over there. He may have to start out in the dirt and then go up on the grass portion. And there's an inch or two difference there.
That's like sort of being half in a bunker and half out as a golfer. You just seem to be all the way out in the dirt or all the way on the grass.
Exactly right. And
good point.
Believe me, he'll be thinking about it.
Of course, you kick. You know what goes through a kicker's mind.
Well, I was worried every time out there. I had something to worry about.
The buck stops there with the kicker.
If he ends up partly on the dirt, and he is, he may have 1 foot on there, so it's not as bad as I thought, but it's still going to be a bit uncomfortable for him.
Guido Merkins is holding the 14 quarterback. It's down. It's up. It's good. Well played by the offense, by Stabler, and of course by Anderson. The good kick. And what was 17-0 is now 17-10. And the gun goes off. And Bum doesn't look too unhappy.
No, he's pretty thankful that he has a bullpen right now to go to, which he did.
They're warning people early in the second period that don't go away, that if they change their tempo a little bit on offense, that New Orleans can make it interesting. Have the 49ers punched themselves out, or do you think the Saints have just sort of picked it up?
Well, I really don't think so. I just really have to credit the New Orleans defense for the Saints even being in this game. You know, people will say Kenny Stabler came in and put some points on the board for him, but you know, it could have been 28-0 or 31-0 before he even got in there if New Orleans defense, which had been on the field a long time, hadn't played so well.
And, of course, the main thing about their defense is that when they play well, they're extremely talented, and they can make a tough thing, like the interception by Poe just before half.
Made some things happen. It was Montana's first interception of the year, and it was just one of the highlights.
We might also mention that the Rams are losing at halftime to Pittsburgh, and Ferragamo has a fracture of a finger on his throwing hand. Of course, they're in the Division II, and Atlanta was upset by Minnesota. So should the 49ers hang on and win this ball game, they would go 3 up in the first half, and there were a lot of them.
Well, this is the pass Montana to Solomon right here, where Solomon came in motion, kind of got lost down around the tight end, and then took it up over the middle, took it deep against the zone. Here comes the help, but it wasn't there in time, and he just made it into the end zone.
Sharp throw.
Now, this is the second touchdown by the 49ers. Wendell Tyler on the run, Roger Craig with a lead block, Bonhorst and crossover on that right side, and he's in with his 5th touchdown of the season.
For Wendell, some all-purpose back. Great tandem there you saw.
And
Craig,
old dogs can still hunt. We call this Tyrone Young, but it's Kenny Stabler to Eugene Goodlow, who makes a sensational catch in double coverage right there.
It was Goodlow's first touchdown catch of the season, and we've sort of been waiting for him for a couple of years. He came out of Canada. He went to Kansas State for a brief time, and Bum Phillips had that Canadian connection and brought him back down, and he's a very talented young receiver.
Yeah, so he got 100 passes up there one season.
Remember now, Todd started and went midway through the second period before Stabler came on. You could see rushing. New Orleans with only 65, but San Francisco was 70, pretty even there.
Yeah, it looks like time of possession is the thing that really surprises me, because I thought right there, looking at that, Brookie, that San Francisco would have had the ball a lot longer than that, because I thought that New Orleans defense was on the field much longer than that. Now, that's a surprising stat for me. Turnovers is the big thing right there. That's what's kept the Saints going. They've got 3. The 49ers 1.
Yeah, and all the turnovers are interceptions. 2 very cautious quarterbacks starting out, except that Todd seemed to throw a couple of them just without looking to see what the coverage was by the defense. There's Montana. He had one picked off and sort of allowed the Saints to get back in this game by throwing what I thought was a lackadaisical throw for him when he went to the corner trying for Solomon and allowed Johnny Poe to pick that ball off.
Yeah, I think he just misread the defense on that one. I really do. I think that he thought he was getting a zone over there, and then Poe would be rotated up, and he could get it in between, and Poe drifted back and didn't have the touch on it.
There are the numbers on the two quarterbacks that started this ball, or that are on the New Orleans side. Todd with 2 of 7, 5 and 3 interceptions. Very ineffective. Stabler coming on very quickly.
But, Brooke, you look around the league, and any quarterback that changes teams, as you see Stabler there, has problems. Look at, David Woodley with Pittsburgh right now. He's not putting a lot of points on the board.
Right.
So that happens.
And here he is, the Wizard. Used to be right across the bay with the Raiders, and then to Houston, out of Alabama. Quite an interesting person and a great guy. And very popular wherever he's ever been with the fans, the people that pay the money to come and see these ball games. There's Ray Wershing, who had his first field goal attempt blocked, so he missed his consecutive streak. It ends at 26. Then he had the second one partially blocked, and it still went through after getting a recall and getting to kick another one at the end of the first quarter. Duckett and Fields. And Wershing is kicking off. Ooh, this is a long kick. Wershing drives Duckett to the goal line. Duckett has a big hole with the wedge and spins to the 34-yard line with a big leap, and I don't see any flags down.
Right here now, in tandem, if you tuck in behind that wedge too tightly, you can't pick your hole. But he was in good position about 7, 8 yards behind it. They got a couple of blocks, and he had a seam or two to pop into.
A 35-yard return by Duckett. And New Orleans seems to have the same zip they finished the first half with. And San Francisco sort of catching a little bit. Stabler, high formation. George Rogers held somewhat in check in that first half, but I sense that he sort of ran a little bit harder after Stabler came in, and that's strictly from up here, so don't bet on anything on that.
And it was the very first play when Stabler came in. He gave it to number 38. Remember what Bill Walsh told us on Saturday, Tom? He said if he gets in a close game, that's when he really fears Rogers the most, because the guy can grind it out, keep the ball away from you, and also pop a long one.
Gaijan is the up back in front of George Rogers, the fellow that Wayne Walker was talking about. Stabler complete to Goodlow into San Francisco territory to the 47-yard line. Dana McLemore hanging on. They're working on McLemore a little bit. Well, Ronnie Lott was hurt again with the knee. Was it this time, it looked like?
Yes, it was. I think his knee gave out on him on a play over near the sideline. And here it is. Stabler likes to work this side, as we mentioned, being a left-hander. That's McLemore. Number 43, Goodlow, who caught that touchdown pass in the first half.
1st and 10. Stabler driving the Saints. Inside drive to Gaijan. Look out, he goes back against it. The flags are down. Hokie Gaijan, the Baton Rouge bayonet, we called him yesterday. We talked to him a little bit. He gets to the 41. Looked like he's cut back against the grain. Holding against New Orleans.
You know how hard it is to hold on a run anymore, because you can use your hands. A new rule this year, that you can push and extend your hands.
Number 60 offense. First down.
That's Court, the big Arkansas Razorback at center. He's as wide as he is tall and as thick as he is wide.
And as strong as he is wide and thick. Number 60, you'll see it. Number 78 is Tuiasa Sopo. Boy, it's tough to see anything from right there, but you have to do something pretty flagrant to get a hold called on you, as we said.
Two tight ends. Stabler now out in the flat. That's Scott. We didn't know if he was going to play or not today. Scott over that 50 and back into San Francisco territory. Ellison makes a pretty good play on this one.
Ellison, who started every game last year as a rookie, helped him a lot playing alongside Hacksaw Reynolds out there, and Hacksaw came in and could help him make the calls and stuff, but good lateral movement.
You know, it seems to me like when Stabler is at the controls that he does something here, does something there, does something. He sort of keeps your defense walking on edge a little bit.
He spread them out already.
2nd down and now 12. The toss back to Wilson. Wilson dragging people to the 43-yard line. Wayne Wilson from Shepherd College. very underrated football player and doesn't get a chance to play a lot.
Oh, he's been a good one, though, for him. When Rogers was down last year, Wilson came in and had 3 straight 100-yard games. Ended up with 787 yards on the year. They like him in there, as I mentioned, on those dual situations, run and pass situations, because he runs good pass patterns and has good hands.
Wayne Wilson is in there on 3rd down and 5. Gross is in motion back through the formation. Stabler gets it to him at the 40. He's going to be short of the 1st down. Holmo making a tackle there. Pretty good little pattern, though. Little under route by the fellow that Wayne Walker said is the Pat Tilley type receiver. Everybody has a good one if they are a good team right now, don't they?
Well, when Stabler first came over to New Orleans and started working with Groth, he said that he's like a Fred Biletnikoff, but only maybe with a little bit more speed. Pretty good recommendation.
I'd say. But Freddie caught everything thrown at him. They're marking off a penalty. We did not get a preliminary call yet by Tom Dooley and his crew.
First down.
The 1st down, an automatic defensive holding call that we did not see a flag on or
Didn't see a
have
flag,
a call
nor did
on.
I hear the number called.
Saints have taken this second half kickoff after scoring with a field goal just before the half.
It'll be 1st down now for New Orleans.
1st and 10, they move the sticks. Rogers is back in, the big tailback. Guyjon's the fullback. And this is Rogers. Rogers wades through people to about the 35. Stuckey making the stop there. Remember when McVay, the fellow that's in the front office, John McVay, in charge of personnel for the 49ers,
right.
He said the hardest thing to find now when you go out looking for people to help your team are defensive ends.
It's a defensive end, and they've lost a couple of them. Of course, Fred Dean is out, and Jeff Stover got hurt. Here's Keena Turner, who we mentioned early. That's Big Brock right there, about 270 pounds. He must have been off balance. Could Keena do that to him?
He did it. And, you know, he said there are more quarterbacks available than there are defensive ends. It looks like perhaps New Orleans is running a little bit at those areas. 2nd down and 7. Stabler quickly. The flag is thrown late. John Tice, the tight end. Williamson, the perpetrator. And the fans editorialize.
Well, we mentioned earlier that Stabler likes to use everyone, particularly the tight ends, and he went to the middle that time. That was the first pass directed at a tight end all afternoon by the New Orleans Saints. Let's take a look at it. Tice is number 82, second-year player out of Maryland. Big guy, about 6'5". Williamson in there, and if anything, maybe just a touch early, but that looks like a pretty good defensive play also. Post call.
1st down snap. Stabler going down the middle again this time. It's going to be a touchdown for Brenner. The Saints never gave up the football.
Hate to say I told you so, too, huh? He likes the tight end.
And gets them all spread out and comes right down the middle.
Worked the outside and came back with Brenner down the middle on a fly pattern against the zone, more than likely. Very effective to send your tight end straight. You get on an inside release. Look at that, wide open. It was either a zone and the free safety didn't get over, or it was a blown coverage. The linebacker was supposed to cover him from the line, and that didn't happen.
Anderson's extra point out of Merkin's hole is good. And the best thing that maybe happened to the Saints under Bo Phillips were having a bad start in this ball game, because they have certainly not only come back, but they have the impetus. As Bum looks on, it's 17 all in the 3rd by Derek Carman. He has to run it out now. That's Carl Monroe with the ball. And Carl gets shellacked at about the 15-yard line, and they almost bobble that back into the end zone.
They'd have bobbled it back in the end zone. They'd have had to run it out, or it would have been a safety. They can't leave it laying on the 1-yard line either.
6 plays, 66 yards, 1 penalty against New Orleans and 2 penalties against San Francisco. And I'm telling you, the Saints are not going to leave this ballpark without giving a good account of themselves.
They were 9 of 14 since he's been in there. 2 touchdowns.
Montana very quiet since the 1st quarter. The handoff to Wendell Tyler. Boy, that defense came up. A loss of a couple, just trying to run a sweep.
Doc Kovac. Ricky Jackson strung it out, and Kovac came in. Watch number 57 play it here. He's got the guard in good shape, and look at Kovac. He read that thing and flew through that hole to make the hit.
I tell you, Ricky Jackson plays blockers about as well as any linebacker this side of Hugh Green.
240-pounder. He's got some strength.
He and Hugh used to play at Pittsburgh together. He claims he did most of the good tackling. Huey got all the All-American accolades, but they're good friends still. It's second down now and 13. Montana hits from behind and drops. Jim Wilkes finally came around, and they're celebrating on the line of scrimmage for New Orleans. What a sack, all the way around the horn.
Wilkes over on the right side, working against number 77, Bubba Paris. Looks like he took an inside move. It looked like they all did over there. Yes, sir. Probably took a couple steps outside and then wheeled it back inside and made the hit.
Athletic. That's the best thing you can say about the defensive players, including Wilkes on this Saints team. They're quick, they're big, and they're tall. There are a lot of tall people there. Montana is out now, being hit that time, and Matt Cavanaugh, the former Pitt quarterback, is in. His first play, a throw from the end zone. Cooper out to the 20. Pretty gutsy call by Cavanaugh, coming in first shot, throwing it out of the end zone.
Ricky, I think that Montana is being bothered by just the recurring rib problems that he picked up in that Monday night game against Washington. He was nailed by Dexter Manley in the rib cage, and they had to design a special pattern.
A 14-yard gain, but now Runninger is having to kick. And this is a tremendous punt. Fields will take it at the 35. Gitter Fields to the 39-yard line. And the crowd begins to sense that the 49ers have gotten out of that one. They bit the bullet. Look out, here comes Stabler. And the offensive line is mammoth. It's a 17-all tie.
Be coming in from the right of your screen. Montana downfield, nothing there. Gets hit from behind. Number 94, Wilkes. And as I said, Montana came into the game with a rib cage problem, and I just imagine that that is still what's bothering him. It's the team there on the bench.
And you know, it's an injury you cannot protect. I know the flak jacket helps, but every time you breathe or turn, you turn those ribs. Stabler back with a first down at the 40-yard line. The Saints are red hot. They scored 17 points unanswered. Rogers on the toss play. Rogers breaks out and tries to get to midfield and almost does. Buns hangs on there. Let's set that San Francisco secondary, Wayne, and see who's playing over there right now.
But check this replay out and check the block here by Hokie Gaijan, number 46, right there on Jack Reynolds after Reynolds had penetration, and that was the key. Reynolds read that extremely well and was 2 yards deep in backfield, but Gaijan made a good adjustment, picked it up, and that was the springer.
Ronnie Lott has a bruised toe. He's not in there. McLemore is playing the right corner. We'll set the rest of them in a moment. Inside goes Rogers. Into San Francisco territory. Jack Reynolds plugging it up there. And I sense the 49ers are hanging on just a little bit now.
Well, they're a little bit battered. We just found out that Ronnie Lott's injury was not a knee. It was a foot or a toe problem, and he probably will not be back. So they'll be going with Dana McLemore, Mario Clark. Remember, Eric Wright, number 21, their starter, told us yesterday I could play if they need me. You know, they may get him back in there, but he's not there now.
The drive play with Rogers. Boy, they're running right at people now. Going to see if you want to take on that big offensive line, and it is gigantic.
Well, Stabler's calling his own plays, and we asked Bum Phillips why he's one of the few coaches in the league that lets the quarterback call, and he said, because I'm not in the huddle. I can't poke my head in there and say to Brock, the right tackle, can you get a hook on your guy? Or I can't say to Obrey, can you blow your man off the line? I need it, and the quarterback can. That's why I let him call.
Keep in mind, the 49er defensive linemen are giving away at least 20 pounds per man. The toss. Rogers cuts back to the 40-and-a-half-yard line. Jack Reynolds making another tackle. The crowd is very quiet.
Brookie, this has just turned into a real tough football game right now at the line of scrimmage. These two teams are very physical and both getting after each other both ways. I like it a lot.
Football at its best. From Brock to Chris Ward, the other tackle. The average is probably close to 280. And this is a large play in this football game. Third down, and call it 4. Wayne Wilson is in there, number 30. Stabler. Goodlow to the 32.
They were in a nickel defense that time, and they took a chance and safety blitz Stabler. They shot Carlton Williamson in, and Stabler, with the veteran that he is, read it right away. No question. He went over there on the slant-in pattern where Williamson had vacated and picked it up. You can't beat the big X.
And a fast read by a veteran quarterback.
Yes, sir.
And the blitz never gets there. It's like having dynamite. You don't light the fuse. Somebody's left holding the back. Mercy's hit. The Stabler riding again. Great drop back. Stabler going for Goodlow, who's open, and overthrows him in the end zone. McLemore was in his wake and got lucky. Other scores on weekend number 3. Pittsburgh beating the Rams 17-7. As we said, Ferragamo has a fractured finger and is out of there. That's in the 3rd. Detroit 14-7 over Tampa Bay. That's not safe. San Diego 28-7 over Houston. That might be safe. Stabler, beard and all, comes to the line of scrimmage, second down and 10. The toss, weak side run by Wilson. Wilson breaks tackles and gets crawling to the 25. Let's see where they spot it. I'm telling you, 59,000 plus are sort of sitting on their hands, waiting for the 49ers to get it back.
Wayne Wilson out of Tiny Shepherd College, 6-year veteran. He was cut by Bum when he was with the Oilers. The Saints picked him up, and then Bum came to the Saints, and Wilson thought, oh, is it going to happen to me again? He said, it's spurred him on some, and he's playing extremely well for them.
Montana and company. Clark talking to him, saying, how you feel? Here's the inside throw to Goodlow. Look out. Oh, good saving tackle at the 20 by Mario Clark. Goodlow was heading for the flag. Seeming to isolate some of those 49er defenders. 14-14, Tampa Bay, with John McKay perhaps using the whip, or at least going to it for the stretch.
Lions playing another close one. They've been in 3 of them.
Giants with a score now over Washington, 14-13. Boy, Washington, capital. That's big news in the nation's capital. First and 10. The plus yardage line ahead. Rodgers really hit at the line of scrimmage. A double-team tackle as McCall and company, and I can't see who else came. I believe number 94 helped.
Hard to tell. Big pile right there, but Milton McCall came in and looked like he got the initial hit from the outside linebacker spot, and that was 94 Louis Kelcher, the human zip code.
Coming over the top on you, that is a shock, isn't it? McCall with those 3 sacks against the Redskins. And right now, it is desperation time. Less than 4 minutes in the 3rd period. Second down 10. Stabler, being hit. Back from behind. Jim Stuckey with a real good pursuit of Stabler.
Stuckey now. Oh, I know I told you Tom was concerned about making this team on the last cut before the Detroit game. And he has played extremely well these last 3 games. Gets the sack right there. He was the #1 draft choice.
Now you get that nickel defense in there on 3rd down and almost 18. The toss back to Wilson. The pull down at the 25. Tina Turner making a great tackle on the outside. The new father.
Right here, Stabler trying to cross him up on a long yardage situation. But you don't play it any better than this. Had a guy down at his ankle, played him off, and still with the speed to get outside with that back and make the play.
That's what you said. Someday the defenses will be 6 linemen and 5 people like Tina Turner backing them up. That may be the defense of the modern era. Anderson now trying from the 31. It'll be a 41-yard field goal attempt. He's a strong-legged one. Oh, boy. Carried by about 15 yards. For the first time, the Saints lead in the football game. 3:11 left in the third. New Orleans 20, San Francisco 7.
Well, no telling it doesn't, but it does not look like he's going to get up and get in on his next offensive series.
Is that his right rib cage that he's holding, sort of, with the ice on it?
Looks like it was.
Anderson kickoff, the left-footed one. Oh, it's a driving kick. Monroe doesn't even get the fair catch it. It's out of the end zone, and the Saints are pumped up. We were just saying, if you showed these films to John McKay and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they wouldn't think they played this team a week ago.
Sequence for the 49ers with some of the medical staff for the 49ers. He's going into the locker room. It is his rib. He's having difficulty breathing. They're not sure what it is. They may have to x-ray.
And you don't take a chance with ribs because you can puncture a lung. You're looking at the young man Kavanaugh. He used to be with New England. Before that, the University of Pittsburgh. Inside handoff. Wendell Tyler explodes to the 29 and gives the crowd something to cheer about. Kovac. It's a good thing Kovac made the tackle there.
Picked a hole here. Looked like this play was designed to go to the left side of center. Look at Wendell make the adjustment back there with his shoulder squared to the line and looking, found a hole. The old run the daylight theory and got a bunch.
Saints have come back to dominate from the time that Snake Stabler walked on the field. It was like adrenaline was being pumped into him. Russell Gary is down, number 20. And he's replaced by Bobby Johnson. He walked off. It looks like he's just nicked a little bit. Right now, on second down and a foot or so, it's Wendell Tyler straight ahead. Looks like he has enough to make the people clap here at Kansas City. Don't forget, next week, the doubleheader. It all starts with the NFL today with the group back in New York. Then you can watch San Francisco against Philadelphia, St. Louis against New Orleans, or Washington against New England in that first game. You check to see what's in your area. And the second one, Chicago, Seattle, or Green Bay against Dallas. Check your local listings next week. It's CBS doubleheader day. First and 10 in San Francisco. The toss by Kavanaugh back to Craig. Craig breaks the tackle and gets over the 40 to the 42. Crowd responding. Dave Waymer making a tackle there for the State secondary.
Watch John Ayers now, number 68. He'll be the lead blocker. The guard pulling from the left-hand side. Bobby Johnson, the young safety, sees it pretty good, but he's got to come up and take on a 260-pounder. He got buried. He made a big pile right there, but Roger Craig did a good job of stepping over it. Craig was a hurdler in high school in his first couple years at Nebraska, and looked like one there going over that pile-up.
Big Ayers really came out and buried him, didn't he? Guys are mean that way. First and 10. Kavanaugh's got the 49ers driving. Wendell Tyler makes a veer at the line of scrimmage and pops through to the 47-yard line. And I noticed a little activity downfield as Clark, the big receiver, was down throwing at one of the secondary men. That makes the play pass action a little bit better the next time you run a pass, huh?
He's almost like having a tight end out there. Dwight Clark, 6'4" and 215 pounds.
I don't believe Clark has caught many balls yet today, has he? One pass is all. Kavanaugh, Matt Kavanaugh. Quick draw play. Craig. Into New Orleans territory, and it looks like a first down. It's going to bring another cheer up from the sun-baked masses, as they call them.
Well, that young guy right there has been dependable for the 49ers since they drafted him in the second round last year. We talked about Wendell Tyler's adjustment. He just made a good adjustment in the backfield that time.
212, 210, somewhere in there.
About 222. He'll fool you.
That's the end of the third quarter. The score, New Orleans 20, San Francisco 17. We told you we were going to have some kind of a tight ball game. You just had to sit around and wait for it. Remain unbeaten, and the people, 60,000, calling for it. Now let's see if Matt Kavanaugh, the backup quarterback, played for the first time in 1984, can do it. He's got a first down in New Orleans territory at the 47. The play-action pass. Kavanaugh. Francis in and out of the hands of Russ Francis at the 26-yard line. Let's go to Brent Musburger in New York City for an update.
Brookie, you mentioned what kind of season Phil Simms is having. Well, this is the touchdown pass that put the Giants ahead of the Redskins. Beautifully thrown pass to Bob Johnson. And the Giants could be 3-0. You believe it? Let's go back to Brookie.
Boy, I bet Parcells doesn't want to wake anybody up. The Giants are playing. They're going for 3-0 today.
Phil Simms has been something since he's 100% healthy.
For Lancelot. It's second down and 10. Kavanaugh's pass on the money, but not held by Russ Francis. Waymer was right there. Kavanaugh, straight drop back now. He's got time. He's overthrowing Solomon. Johnny Poe was there. Kavanaugh, of course, he's a good-looking young athlete, a lot like Montana in some ways. I suppose that's why McVay and Walsh got him. He's 6'2", 212 pounds in his 6th year.
Yeah, they picked him up before the start of last season, before the '83 season. He really didn't play much last year because of Montana's durability. I've seen him play some in the preseason, and what you haven't seen yet from him is he's really nifty back in the pocket. With pressured, he can move around and scramble with the best of them. Extremely quick back there.
Clark. And Monroe to the bottom of the screen. That's Monroe cutting through the pattern there. Let's see what Kavanaugh goes with. Spiked and knocked down by Jim Wilkes.
Having a good ball game over there, Jimmy Wilkes. The thing you're supposed to do, try to get penetration, and if you can't, get those arms and hands up, and he knocked it down.
Wilkes at 6'5", so it's quite a long shadow there.
Wilkes was a guy that was almost an afterthought draft choice. They picked him up on the 12th round, and in '81, they were looking at a quarterback from another school. He played for San Diego State, and they were looking at a quarterback, and saw him rushing the passer and picked him.
Rudiger's punt taken by Fields, and he is taken at the 11-yard line very quickly. Maybe a return of a couple of yards. Good kicking game that time. The punt was good. The coverage was good. We've got a good game. It's 20-17. The Montana came back. It looked like a John Derrick movie of the 50s or something.
What was the name of it? Saturday's Hero.
Saturday's Hero on Sunday.
You're only too old enough, probably, around here anyway, to remember that.
It's a collector's item. A Montana back means that he's going to come back in the next series. And right now, Snake Stabler, who's been around long enough to be in that movie, is quarterbacking. Drive. Rogers. Not much, and a lot of red on him.
A lot of time left. We've got 14 minutes and 15, 16 seconds, and you kind of get the feeling now that this game might be decided by a defensive break, an interception or a fumble somewhere that might make the difference in this one.
Well, I think you summed it up when you thought that State's defense had stayed in there a lot of time on the field, and they're still able to play as well as they do. Rogers with 79 yards on 19 carries. Stabler. The rush is on. He's down. Elaine Board. Big sack.
Boy, with the loss of Fred Dean, Board is there. Down in low and then just kept scrambling as it looked like they had a stun in where the tackle went outside, Board came back inside, and they were really kind of gingerly on those knees. Discretion was the better part of valor that time.
A great hustle play by Dwayne Board. Stabler out of the end zone. It's up. Heading for growth, and it's just over his hands. White Hicks was there. Good coverage. Let's go to New York City for an update. Brent?
Joe Montana in your game, and Vince Ferragamo has been knocked out of the Ram game. So Jeff Kemp now has stepped in. Here he's flushed by the Pittsburgh Steelers. On the run, he's got Drew Hill. This will be a 57-yard touchdown, but still the Rams trail the Steelers by 3, 17-14. Let's go back to Brookie.
Rams are fighting back. This division, the Western Division of the NFC, is going to be down to the wire. McLemore about to take the punt. Brian Hansen, the young man that replaced Erkleben, is in his end zone. And he a tremendous punt. Look at this punt. McLemore takes it at the 38, drops it, and is tackled at the 41. What a punt.
Is he assigned from Sioux Falls?
Sioux Falls. He has a 94-yarder to his credit. And another rookie, Terry Hogue, went down under it and made the tackle.
55 yards, kick from scrimmage, 4 yards.
We got some stars on the field. A 56-yard punt, sternum. That is your chest bone. If you want to know what it is, that it is painful, and you can't do a lot of moving around unless you're forced to. He says he might come back. First down call by Cavanaugh. Toss to Wendell Tyler. Tyler hitting very hard for a small running back to the 47-yard line. Whitney Paul got bucked around that time. Yeah, little guy packs some punch, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, he's low slung and built extremely heavy in the thighs and below the waist, and he can deliver.
A pickup of 6 yards by Wendell Tyler, the man in a hurry. Second down and 4. Cavanaugh on play action pass, rolling.
What I was going to say, that was an excellent catch. Watch this right here now. Play action, fakes the draw. One back out in the flat, he's well covered. Look for Francis over the middle. Slings it, now watch this. In the hands, down on one knee.
You know, I had a feeling when we talked to him yesterday, Wade, that he sort of wants to be used a little bit, that he wants to not be a party doll, he wants to be a real good football player, which I think he always has been. Sometimes people are taking it for granted. Outside veer by Craig. Boy, the 49ers are getting after the safe defense now. Good-looking buck by the young fullback. Picked up about 5 yards.
There it is with Craig now drive blocking here by Bubba Paris on the left side. John Ayers over there. The tight end Francis. They're doing a good job right now of knocking people off that line of scrimmage.
Well,
New Orleans might have to take a chance now, Brookie, and perhaps blitz a little bit.
That's the best block for Paris anyway, straight ahead.
It is.
All right, second down and 4. Give him 6 on that. Craig. Here come the linebackers in. They did fill the gap. Tyler for the first down. And slithering to get it. They're having to hold Tyler on the ground. Frank Warren. Boy, Quillen's some center, isn't he? He doesn't get much credit. Bum's worried.
What I said now, you might see New Orleans go into some blitzing and stunning right now to make something happen. They're not beating them straight up.
Dwight Clark comes out. Mike Wilson, who had the big catch against Washington, and Solomon in. Solomon's had him against anybody that's ever lined up. It's a first down call. Inside trap play by Tyler. He hits the hole and is pinned down by Dirk Winston.
Well, they did blitz. They brought Kovac, the inside linebacker, and John Ayers picked him off, and Tyler almost popped it.
Don't forget, in 2 weeks on CBS Sports Saturday, Jerry Cooney takes on Phil Brown in a 10-round heavyweight bout, live from Anchorage, Alaska. Cooney hasn't fought since losing his bid to take the heavyweight title from Larry Holmes in June of '82. Join us all for the action from Alaska in 2 weeks on CBS Sports Saturday. 68 yards for Wendell Tyler on 15 carries. Second 5. Second down 5. Cavanaugh going to roll right. Switch up to Cooper. Cooper breaks the tackle. Cooper scores. Cooper, and even Bum Phillips is clapping. But what he's saying is, don't worry about it. We'll get the lead back.
Cooper, the converted fullback, switched to tight end last year. They made that move because they like to get him the ball out there where he can run with it open, and he showed you what he can do. Broke a tackle and scored.
Got away from Ricky Jackson. There are not many people alive that have done that in the NFL. Wersching's extra point. Cavanaugh's hole, of course. Montana's been hurt. 9 2:33 left in the fourth period, and the 49ers finally go back on top. There's Cooper.
Here's the Cooper touchdown. You see, yeah, that was him going in motion across the middle. Play action fake. Roll out by Cavanaugh. Number 49 is Watlett. Cooper pulls the leg away from him and then sets sail. Frank Watlett was up in pretty good shape, but couldn't hang on to Cooper. Makes it in for the score, and we've got a close one.
Because most of it's going to be written in the next 9.5 minutes. Werzy's going to kick off. A 59-yard drive, 6 plays, and Cavanaugh, the man that was at the controls.
And now to Cooper for the score, and Cavanaugh, since he's been in, 3 of 6 for 51 yards and that touchdown.
Werzy's kickoff. The crowd now getting into the action. Fields at the 3. Jeter Fields. Reversing. Oh, hit hard at the 22. Both teams now are loading it up. That's those numbers I just gave you. 6 plays, 59 yards. It took 3.5 minutes. And Cavanaugh with a daring reverse roll, a 23-yard pass to Earl Cooper. 24-20. And the Saints weren't in this for a quarter and a half until he showed up. Stabler. Whiskey River. Drop back. That's Goodlow at the 39. Good throw, though.
New Orleans is gesturing as if it's on the 49ers.
We remarked earlier that they never threw crossing panels at passing patterns at New Orleans, and now they look like they're bringing Goodlow across. Defensive holding, automatic first. Bill Walsh with a 2-0 record coming in.
During the pass, decline, it's first down.
Declined, so they took the pass reception, which was good, to Goodlow from Stabler. Washington, 23-14, quickly on top of the Giants now. High formation, Guy John and George Rogers. Stabler being rushed, stands in there. Mario Clark cut number 80 off at the pass. That was Lindsey Scott. Stabler is getting up very slowly back in a pocket that disappeared about the time he unloaded. Dwayne Board was standing over him.
Mario Clark, a physical cornerback who plays in a lot like the Ronnie Lott style. Lindsey Scott wanted a call downfield here. The officials didn't give it to him, but there is contact right before the ball gets there. But contact on both players, the official rules.
The question always is, does the defensive player have the position first? Stabler trying to get it out to the screen to Wilson. Wilson, there's a flag down at the 50-yard line. Wilson gets to about the 39-yard line. Eric Wright came up and hit the running back very hard. Let's see what to call it. Offensive pushing. That's another one that's hard to detect with everybody doing it.
He has been Ken Stabler, a team leader for this New Orleans team since he came over. Gave them respectability and
Pass interference. 85 offense. Second down.
85. Brenner, the tight end, clearing out. Plum wants his license number. Come on, Brenner, he says. Get with the game plan. Two good football teams. 8-8 the Saints were last year, and they were humiliated in this ballpark a year ago, 27-0. They said it was the worst game they played in '83. They're playing a good one today. Dallas on top of Philadelphia by 6. Gets it down at 20. Stabler, interception. Number 49 has it. That's Fuller. Fuller inside the 10 to the 5-yard line. Van Brock tackling from behind, but Fuller may have changed the whole
game.
The rookie out of Texas A&M has already made some big plays for the 49ers. Here it is. Take a look secondary-wise. He is 49. He was drafted as a linebacker. The 49ers took a look at him in minicamp, and he ran the 40 so extremely well and covered so well, they moved him to safety. He comes in now and plays in the nickel situation as a linebacker, but they have used him back there as safety. He ran a 4.40 for him, and wow. Instead he's 6'2", 215, and could play linebacker if needed.
A 36-yard return of an interception by Fuller, his first, and certainly his biggest. Cavanaugh, crossbuck handoff. Wendell Tyler inside the 5. I looked across the field, though, immediately after that, and Bum Phillips was not jumping up and down and mad. He was just clapping his hands like, hang in there. There's a lot of time left in the fourth quarter. He wears well, the man in the ostrich boots.
Well, you know what he said to me once, something that really makes sense. He says, you can't sell your people on winning every game, because when you lose, then you'll doubt yourself.
Pretty good philosophy, right? A quality person. Look out. 49ers. What this one bad. They lead by 4. Cavanaugh. Play action pass. Cavanaugh. Out. Over Solomon's hands.
Good coverage out there by 44, Waymer. Dave Waymer, the cornerback on Solomon.
Cavanaugh just did have that out of there, though. That's a tough coverage for the secondary, then, because if you touch them, they scream. If you don't, your coach is going to kill you.
Cavanaugh started out, of course, with the New England Patriots, coming out of Pittsburgh. He was the starter for them in the strike-shortened year. Started the first few games of that season until the strike, and then when he came back, for no apparent reason, they gave the job to Steve Grogan. He actually lost his starting job during the strike, and that's what kind of soured him on the situation in New England, and he asked to be moved, and they moved him here, and the 49ers were glad to get him.
They had trouble getting a play into young Cavanaugh, and now they have to call a timeout. That one may be important. He did on the tube, and you got to get these kind of touchdowns. Third down and 5. Third and goal, really, from the 5 after the interception by Fuller. And young Cavanaugh, the number 2 quarterback replacing Montana, must get this touchdown. They burned a timeout. That's better than having a fumble or something, I guess, Wayne.
I think they were having a little bit of problem with the signal system on the sideline. Cavanaugh wasn't exactly sure what they wanted, and the safe thing to do in such a crucial situation here is just to walk over and get it. You know, with Montana in the ball game here, the 49ers in this situation a lot like to favor, you know, roll out one way or the other and give him an option of run or pass, and I would imagine they'd stay pretty much the same with Cavanaugh, because as I said before, he can move.
And he's pretty much along the same lines. Good feet, good handling the pocket.
He might even be a little bit faster than Montana.
Boy, not bad. Good credentials for young Cavanaugh. Monroe and Roger Craig in there. Clark to the bottom of the screen. Solomon tight to the top. Cavanaugh to throw, being rushed, and overthrows Craig, who was bear hugged by Dirt Winston.
Boy, you know, in a way, if Dirt would have been playing the ball instead of the man, we may have seen about a 90-yard interception return.
That's one of his problems. He's always gone for the body, you know.
Right here, you'll see it. Cavanaugh back, normal drop, blitz by Whitney Paul, and look at right there. Whoa. He was trying to do some separating, and if he'd have just been looking at that ball, may have had a chance. It's tough for a linebacker to do, because you don't get in that situation a whole lot of time.
Advantage to New Orleans now, because this Werging field goal will only make it a 7-point margin. They held off the TD by San Francisco. Yeah, that's good. But they go up by 7 points over New Orleans now, and that's a touchdown and an extra point. Big defensive stand by the New Orleans Saints. We've got 7:45 left. Special teams, well, Werging has got to get one of his superior kickoffs, get it deep in the end zone so it only comes out to the 20. You don't want to have a special teams play give New Orleans an advantage to get that Sabre offense going from about the 40 or better. Fields and Duckett waiting. Good high kick. It's going to be short, though. This is Duckett at the 7-yard line. He's good. He's trying to get over to the wedge. Oh, good tackle. Number 52 very quickly made a good tackle. That's Montgomery, Blanchard Montgomery. Duckett had a little room if he'd have made it over there. There's a 49er on the field about the 7-yard line. He's stretched out. Good coverage by the 49er kickoff team. 7.5 minutes left.
Talk about your special teams work. Here's Ron Ferrari, who's one of the good ones. The 49ers keep a lot of linebackers around because they're good on special teams.
Oh, my God.
Up and at him right there. And that's what happened.
Ferrari's the one that's being helped off. Just stunned, though.
Three-car collision, and he's walking away from it.
What a fender bender that was. He's coming out of it.
You know, he was a walk-on at Illinois. He was a running back in high school. Nobody wanted him, and he went to the coach and said, if you just let me run down on some kickoffs, I'll guarantee you I'll make your team. He did. He did.
He's playing. And now the big defensive series for San Francisco. Nate Stabler, the quarterback. He came on in that second period. George Rogers on the toss. Nowhere to go. A lot of red shirts chasing. McCall getting there first.
Two outside linebackers that I know could make that play. Ted Hendricks is one, and Milt McCall's another. They call McCall Bird after Big Bird. He's about 6'6". With those long arms, and he reached out and made that play. If he was a normal human being, Rogers is around the corner on that one.
Remember earlier when you said they wanted to keep Rogers running parallel with the line of scrimmage. Don't let him get cut back and turned up. He's like a freight train then. Second down and call it 10 to go. Stabler's got to throw it. You know it and we know it. The blitz is on. Stabler's pass is broken up.
Mario Clark, good coverage, intended for Scott.
Boy, what coverage.
Yeah.
The short out. And it's a very tough one to read as a cornerback because you really give yourself up.
Here's Stabler now with plenty of time on this one. They had time to set and throw and get something on it, and it's going to be there for Lindsey Scott. But Mario Clark, number 29, playing over there in place of Ronnie Lott.
Mario
Makes a big one.
From Buffalo, right, where he started for so many years. This is Dwayne Board.
Well, that would be bad news for the Niners. Anything wrong with him? They've already lost, like I said, a couple defensive ends. But
Dover's gone.
And he's had 2 knee operations in the last 5 years.
Fred Dean isn't here. And as McVay said, you can't find good defensive ends. They're not around.
You know why? He said because they all have bad knees. It's a very vulnerable position.
Good point. Boyd is in at defensive end, just obtained from the Green Bay Packers. Third down and 10 call for Snake Stabler. Unloads it out. Gross with the ball. He's going to have a first down. Williamson made the tackle, but I think late.
Great effort by Gross.
He's the under receiver that got him in that Tampa Bay contest, too.
He's their third down guy. He had 6 catches in the first 2 games, and all of them were on third down. See why they like him right here. He runs exquisite patterns, and it's where the quarterback knows he's going to be in those crucial situations. And he drives right there for an extra yard or 2 to pick it up.
6-15. There's Richard Todd, the starter from Alabama in this game. He doesn't look unhappy, though, that Stabler has brought him back. Part of football. Good catch by Goodlow and a good tackle at the 35-yard line. Boy, McLemore. Talk about being able to inhale and exhale again. If he misses that tackle, that Goodlow's got very good speed. Don't forget, next week's CBS doubleheader day. The NFL Today starts it all back in New York with Brent and Jimmy and Phyllis, Irv, and then it's the 49ers in Philadelphia, St. Louis and New Orleans, Washington at New England. And then that second game follows that. Here's George Rogers running left to the 40 for another first down. 5.5 minutes. Clock's running now. And that second game, in case you're worried about that right now, Chicago against Seattle and Green Bay against Dallas.
You think that Franco will be pretty well settled into the Seattle offensive system by that time, and it might be a shootout between him and Peyton that day.
Well, he better be, because that Chicago defense is the craziest bunch of people I've ever watched.
They line up everywhere, don't they?
They almost ran the Denver Broncos out of town. They drove them to O'Hare during the game. Chris Ward, the big tackle that used to be with the Jets, the #1 draft out of Ohio State, that Bum Phillips got at the last minute when LaFerry went down.
Yeah, LaFerry perhaps their steadiest offensive lineman, if basically not their best.
Oh, is Chris Ward big, too? He's got to get up on his own because those three cannot get him up.
Well, they got him listed at 269. You know.
Junior in high school, he weighs 260.
Yeah, he's another one of those guys where you got to take him down to the freight station to weigh him.
What a game. 17-zip. San Francisco just controlled the entire first quarter. You know what happens, boy. They come off the bench and get it warmed up. Tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, the new show, Emergency Room. This is the premiere, by the way, of 60 Minutes. The new ones are out. Of course, that's always everybody's favorite. A great show. Emergency Room follows that. And then Some Kind of Hero follows that. CBS tonight, right here. There's Chris Ward going off. Dallas in the fourth period, comfortably in front of Philadelphia now. Detroit 17-14. That might not be enough in the fourth period there.
Lonnie Clark's not going to have any nails left.
Pittsburgh by 10 over the Rams. And Ferragamo is having his finger looked at. First and 10 now with 5 minutes left. The toss, the reverse fake by Rogers. Rogers cuts back and bowls his way to the 46-yard line. The fake reverse to Gross. Stabler now trying to stretch that defense again.
Just mixing it up a little bit, get him thinking about things. Here it is right here. There's the toss to Rogers. Watch Jeff Gross come around. They fake the handoff to him, but those guards that pulled up front keep blocking, and the business is all being taken care of right here. Just got word on Dwayne Board. He was kicked in the calf and can and most likely will come back.
Second down and a long 4 or 5. Gross in motion through the formation. Toss back to George Rogers running sideways. They kept him going there and trapping for a loss. 49er defense.
I think it was Board. I do. I think it was number 76 over there that made the original hit. Yep.
The good ones do want to play, don't they?
Yeah, they get back fast, don't they? Here it is right here. The toss, and watch Board, who limped off just a few moments ago. Handle this one. Handle his man, floated on out, makes the hit, and put the stoppers to it, along with Jim Fonhorst, the linebacker, 55.
Now, if Stabler and Phillips have been saving a play, it comes out now on 3rd down and 5, and you saw the clock, 3:43 left. Oh, let's see if there's a flag. No flag. Eric Wright back in the game at the corner. Made a classy play. They say he's one of the best coverage men in the league. That proved it.
Ronnie Lott said his goal in life is to be able to cover one-on-one like Eric Wright. You'll see why right here. Back in the game because of, I suppose, the time of the game it is, but Ricky, you play that position out there and you don't do it any better than that.
He reached around and knocked it away. They wouldn't even have called a foul in the NBA on that one. Perfect timing. He is some smooth player.
Yes, he is.
Ronnie Lott has been out now. You see Snake Stabler over on the sideline. The bearded one. Boy, did he bring this team up by the bootstraps, huh?
Really did. You just kind of wonder here, with 3:38 and with the way that kid Hansen is kicking, this is a tough decision for Bum Phillips right here to keep the offense on the field. His defense has been playing pretty good until, the last series or so. And there's plenty of time if they could drill it deep and they get the ball back perhaps in good field position. But I think what he's thinking right now is that he has enough confidence in number 16 right there. And he told me last year, he says, I love close games because I feel when I get in a close game, I've got the best quarterback.
What's he got, an umbrella above him there? No, that's the standard, I guess.
Standard, yeah. He's not that cool, calm, and collected. I don't think he brought his own umbrella at this point.
I think I'd put it down in the corner and try to use 3 minutes to get the ball back.
It's a tough decision. It really is. I mean, if they don't pick it up here now, it's just almost all over for him.
Boy, you're right, though. He's got a left-hander in there. If I had to have somebody with the dice in their hand for one shot on the hard 8, I believe I'd hand him to Stabler.
That's right. That's exactly the way Phillips felt. That's the way Bum feels about it. Niners got their nickel in there. Their best pass defenders. Eric Wright's in there. Mario Clark at the corner.
Wilson's in there. He's the back behind Stabler. He's got time. Now it breaks loose. Oh, it's Wilson that can't hang on to the ball. 49ers will take over at the 45. I don't don't see any flags. Jeff Fuller making another big play on Wayne Wilson.
Yeah, and there was some pretty good pressure on Stabler back there. I believe Dwayne Board was back there. Tui Asasopo putting a little heat on him, and he did throw it a little bit behind Wilson. Jeff Fuller was right there. Take a look at it here. 49ers Fuller is up there faking the blitz. Watch him checking for that back to come out on him now. Here he comes, so he'll pick him up coming over the middle. Look at the pressure back there. Stabler had to throw it off his back foot. And it was catchable. It was down on the knee, but Fuller was right there with him.
And it was Board that flushed the early throw out.
Yeah.
Good call. Good analysis, John Wayne. Some football game. First down. Kavanaugh's got to keep it now for 3.5 minutes. Crossbuck handoff. That's Craig. He's got the speed. And he's pushed out of bounds at the 37-yard line.
Well, he's just faster than he looks, isn't he, Berkey? You know, he bounces out, and it doesn't look like he's getting much, and then all of a sudden he's got 8 yards, and he's around people.
I think he held a 220-meter state high school record in Nebraska, I believe. You know, I mean, he really is a true sprinter.
I told you that he was a hurdler. He was a hurdler in high school and college. And, you know, and his hero, naturally, was Ronaldo Nehemiah. So
the 49ers had an inside shot at him. Second down and 3. 3:26 left. The clock being stopped by Craig getting out of bounds. Tyler's in there now. And Kavanaugh has replaced Montana, who has large first down. Now the clock is running, and you know that the 49ers are not going to stop it. Bum's going to have to do that somehow.
Yeah, you know, when Roger Craig ran out of bounds on that first toss on first down, when he got back to the huddle, I'm quite sure that the veterans in the huddle said, kid, take 1 yard less, stay in bounds, and keep that clock running.
You can see Bum Phillips, Roger Craig and Tyler in there. Kavanaugh. Tyler spins it, trying to get away at the 30. You never have him quite put away, do you? Waymer finally came up and cinched it. He's always sort of skittering, you know. You just think you have him, and you don't.
Like Mercury. You ever try to pick up Mercury and then used to drop Mercury down and just to bump around and skid all over? That's the way he runs.
He's been averaging 90-some-odd yards a game rushing, and you know he's a good pass receiver. Hold those number of fumbles down, and hello, Pro Bowl.
Now, those fumbles, you know, they basically come when he's squirming for extra effort and things like that. And they've talked to him about it, and he's concentrating more in those situations like right now, this kind of situation where, you know, the extra yard or two doesn't mean as much as the possession of the ball. Roger Craig, 8 carries for 52 yards. Tyler, 17 carries for 70 yards, and that's why a lot of people think that this is the best 49er team, even better than the Super Bowl year, because they have a lot better running game.
Of course, the thing that we're seeing as we watch Kovac for defense and Bum Phillips talk is that this division, if the Rams lose Ferragamo, Atlanta now has lost sort of a surprising one to the Vikings. These two teams, when they do meet again down in New Orleans, is probably the division, you know?
Yeah, no telling. It's a 2-game lead now, you know, for the 49ers should they win this one, and pretty good early in the year looking back.
And going into Philadelphia, not a great place to visit. Good place to live, but not a great place to visit. But the Eagles right now are probably not in the top 10 teams as far as the difficulty. There you can see what's happened so far. We're not through here. 2:22 left. Toss. Craig. At the 35, Whitney Paul came up very quickly. Colorado, buddy.
New Orleans just took a timeout down. They want to get the clock stopped here once before the 2-minute mark because they know the 2-minute mark will stop it again for them.
That way they'll have 2 timeouts left if and when they get the ball back to do some finagling. I am so impressed with the Saints team today because they are spirited. I mean, really up, particularly when Snake Stabler came in. They just seemed to... We watched tapes of them playing Tampa Bay, and I thought they were very listless until the last minute, until Hokie Kaijan got them going. But he takes wins and losses pretty much in the same frame of mind.
You know, it's just a long year. As you go through a 16-game season, you know, everybody has high spots, low spots, and level off. Look at that, Tampa Bay coming back over my line, 21-17.
Can't count anybody out. Pittsburgh, 24-14 in the fourth quarter. That was just about over. Washington getting even with the world today, I suppose. You know what it's like being a loser in that city these days?
Yeah, they forget you fast, don't they?
Oh, they forget the politicians for today. They'll really rip you up. All right, Tom Brookshire and Wayne Walker. Watching what's really been a I'll tell you, young Fuller, who comes in on the nickel defense, in 3 games so far this year, he's made 2 or 3 plays that might determine whether his club goes to work in late January or not.
A real find. There's no question that they were, when they first came to minicamp with him and all the other draft choices, he was a number 6 draft choice, I believe. And they said, Lord, you know, he looked like they could have spent a number 2 on him and been happy.
New Orleans is now out of timeout. San Francisco still has a couple. Crowd now beginning to play ukuleles and get into a post-game party atmosphere, but it's not over yet. Inside handoff, Wendell Tyler. Close to 10 yards on that one burst. Wendell Tyler running close to that trap block. Oh, he gets right in with the guards and tackles. Ricky Jackson shoestringing from behind. Uh-oh, Wendell gets up limping. Good time to take a curtain call. Almost picks up the first down.
Here's Tyler's run. Lead block there by Craig, and looked like a short trap up front. Like you said, he stays down there so low, it's hard for the defense to pick him up. Good, tough running.
Keep in mind that should the San Francisco team stay on top here, that the Los Angeles Raiders won over Kansas City 22-20, and the Super Bowl is only a few miles down the road, isn't it? That would be wild indeed. Palo Alto would come apart at the seams.
With the 49ers and Raiders, the peninsula might sink.
Where's the fault line, right? Bob Phillips' team has put their heads back and played very well.
And 4th down. Big play right here for New Orleans on defense. Biggest of the day.
Wersey now is going to try that field goal from the 30, so this is a 40-yard field goal attempt. 4th and 2, so Tyler is short. High snap. He still got it through. Way Wersey kicked the one that he had to kick. A high snap to Kavanaugh, the new holder. Ray stayed in there.
That makes a difference, too, having someone in there. He doesn't get a lot of work with Kavanaugh in practice because Montana is his holder. But Kavanaugh handled that extremely well. New Orleans defense tried to make the big surge, and they had been close to a couple of them today. In fact, got their hands on one, but 49ers buckled up that time, and nobody got any penetration at all.
Don't forget, CBS is our doubleheader day. It all starts with Fred and Irv and Phyllis and Jimmy back in New York, and then it's the 49ers against the Eagles. We hope you'll join Wayne Walker and I on that one. Or St. Louis against New Orleans, or the Redskins taking a nice little trip to New England. The second game of that doubleheader, the Chicago Bars, that's what they call them there, against the Seattle Seahawks. And Green Bay takes a trip to Dallas. Check your local listings, but it's doubleheader day on CBS, and we're beginning to get some trends going. And the good teams have at least 49 good players. That's the biggest trend I see so far. There are no shortcuts any longer. Duckett and Fields waiting for Wersey's kickoff. Boy, Ray must be happy after that. That's Duckett. He keeps going to the left side, trying to get Sprung over there, and they keep closing it off for him. He stopped there at about the 19th. Montgomery making another one. Blanchard Montgomery. Now let's see if Staber. I've never known him to throw the real deep ball when you expect it. Now he has to almost. 1:50 on the clock, no timeout.
In a situation like this, the quarterback is really limited. If he really kind of has to throw the ball towards the sideline, Tom, so they can get out of bounds and stop the clock.
Cassidy is in there with him. That's intercepted by number 90, Todd Shell. Todd Shell, the BYU rookie. What a play. I don't even know if Saber saw him.
Shell was the Niners' first draft choice. So it's almost in the bank here right now for the 49ers. They're at least in the deposit line. Right here, Shell dropping back. Number 90, you see him. He's playing a real loose zone. Everyone is. A little pressure again. And it was not a good throw as he was going for Junior Miller, the ex-Atlanta tight end.
Amazing pressure with only a three-man rush. They dropped everybody off that time. Might have fooled Snake into thinking he had some kind of blitzing pressure. A 14-yard return by Todd Shell, who is fast, and he's going to fill out one of these days. Derek Harmon, Craig in there. 1:37 left. That's Harmon. He's an Ivy League fella.
He was Ivy League Player of the Year last year for Cornell.
Smart football team.
You hate this on defense now, Berkey, when you've really in there and you've really put out what you have. It's all, everything you had out there today is down on that field, and you've given it about all. And you look over there, and it's pretty hopeless right now, and the other team's got new guys in there that want to gain a few yards.
And, you know, I found out that people always remember the last play of the game. If you were burned on it, that's all they ever remember is how bad you played. They have played well. Second down and 5.
They played great.
Kavanaugh getting some neat experience. Bill Friel tells me that Derek Harmon, the Cornell again.
It is. I'm glad that you mentioned the fact that the New Orleans defense has played well, Tom, because I mentioned at the end of the first half that the score could have been 28 San Francisco points or 31 San Francisco points, and they kept their team in there until somebody came to help them, and the guy happened to be Stabler. They got back in the ball game, but didn't have quite enough to get past the hump.
Just saw a little smile on Joe Montana's face, so he must not be in awful pain and probably very happy that Kavanaugh is so capable for him, huh?
No question.
Walsh had a smile, a worried smile. Third down, about a foot. The game is over, and not many seconds left, as you can see, and might not even get a snap off. Good football game. San Francisco 30, New Orleans 20. Tom Brookshire for Wayne Walker. Let's go now to Tampa Bay, Detroit. Good job.
Solid.